Well, hello, and good morning, everyone. So glad to see you all here. And why am I echoing? Freaking StreamYard. Okay, guys, the last time we had this happen, I had to start a whole new stream over again. What? And let's see if that works. No, it doesn't. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Your girl, I'm gonna have to restart StreamYard. I don't know why. Wait. For those of you who don't know whether or not you should start streaming, you're worried about making mistakes, okay? I just made a serious rookie mistake because I had to stream up on YouTube, and usually I have it muted, but I ran to go get my tea and I forgot to mute it, so that's why I was like hearing myself twice. So my bad, but we got it all together. We got it all together. So welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole. Of course, you know I keep it constantly real when it comes to theme parks. So this is a Resort Recon Live podcast where, I'm in the studio so I can answer questions and let you guys know about things without having to, dodge people around the park while I'm showing you guys around. And low key, I started this show on Saturdays mainly because it was hot. So I think I've been doing this show for about close to a year. Florida is warming up. And the last thing I really want to be is out in the parks at high noon on a Saturday. So we're in here talking to you all. Got a packed show. Of course, we're going to be talking about a little bit about the Disney Q2 earnings report. I'm not getting into the specifics really of numbers, but going to give you a translation of all those numbers into what does it mean about the theme parks. And the biggest thing when it comes to the theme parks is that Disney has announced that they are building a park in, of all places, Abu Dhabi. So, contrary to popular opinion that Americans do not know geography, oh, I do. I do. Abu Dhabi is in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, a little bit south of Saudi Arabia. Yes, in the Middle East. I know. Raising a lot of hackles. We're going to be talking about that. Also, talking about Epic Universe. You know what? Now that I've been a couple times and been able to, that phrase, the honeymoon phase is over. Oh, it's not over, but you take off your rose-colored glasses and kind of like, okay, what is it that you're really irritating me about? So we're going to talk about that. So our other panelists, of course, I'll let them drop in as they can because that's how friends do. But let's kick off the show, of course, by seeing who is in the chat because you guys in the chat, you are my co-hosts. I know there's a lot of streamers out there, not knocking anybody's hustle, but they kind of go on and on with what's on the screen and who they're talking to in their panel, not really taking into account the chat. So I do read the chat, and if I miss something, my mods will pop something up to me like, hey, Lorena, you might want to look at this comment because I know what it's like to be in the chat during a live stream, and you guys are what builds my channel and builds this awesome community around my quirky and weird and sometimes dark sense of humor. All right, let's see who we got here between YouTube and X. I see about 34 you guys are watching. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We've got Goof R35. I'm sorry, I'm still waking up. Says, hey there. Well, hey there, and hello, hello, hello. Good to see you, my dear. Also, I saw Anita make a post about Disney Abu Dhabi. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We are gonna talk about that. Let's just say some folks in the Skittles Nation are not happy, which I find very interesting considering I haven't really heard a lot of talk about, you know, Shanghai Disneyland and what's been going on in, Hong Kong Disneyland, but we're going to talk about that. Hey, Juliet, good to see you, my dear, over there across the pond with those beautiful grandchildren. This is good evening, Lorena and chat. Good to see you. Good to see you. We have got DJ Knight in the chat. Hello. Says hi, Lorena. Well, hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, I hate it when I have zippers that drip. Hey, Braylon. Good to see you, my dear. It says hashtag it's Recon time. This is so a response to Universal Great Britain, and Epic is still coming. Oh my, do we have a lot to talk about? Yes, yes, we do indeed. You can call me basically the Disney Whisperer because I'm gonna tell you what's between the lines, so you don't fall for the okie doke, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, so to speak. BR Geist is here. Hello, my dear. Just hi, Lorena, and everyone heading to a family graduation. So I'll have to catch on the replay. Have fun. Well, thank you, my dear, for checking in, folks. Tap that thumbs up button. That is your price of admission. I sure appreciate it. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps boost up my channel. So appreciate it. And Tinkerella treasure trunk. I like that. I actually have a store that I'm working on Mercari called Stinkerbell's Treasure. I kid you not. Because I need some place to sell off the almost embarrassing stash of Disney pins that I have. And these are Disney pins from like, what, 2004 to I want to say 2016. I mean, I bought too much. I was crazy. Hey, Keely Chow says, hey, everybody, good morning. And yes, Tinkerella, good evening, good afternoon to you. And yeah, I am feeling good. I'm feeling better. I think the plants have almost finally, or flowers have finally finished blooming. Oh, so I can breathe better. Keely Chow is here. Hello, my dear. Says, hey, everybody, and good morning. Well, good morning. Good morning. I think you're still in Huntsville, Alabama. All right. And let's see. It was great last night. Yeah, if you didn't catch our game of Quiplash on my channel last night, completely MCU themed Quiplash, because I tailor my Quiplash shows. You got to go back and watch it. It's hilarious. Hey, Dylan Soup says, hey, Lorena, sup, chat? Well, hello, hello, what's up? And good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see all you guys right here. Before I get started, there's two things I want to show you. First of all, digging through my treasures and stuff like that. Oh, wait a minute. Did you hear that Six Flags Great America is closing later this year? Yes, I did hear that. I didn't even know there was a Six Flags America. I kid you not. Of course, I knew about Six Flags Great Adventure because that was near me. So that's the Six Flags I was familiar with. Familiar with Six Flags over Georgia, of course, and Six Flags Magic Mountain. So I didn't know anything about Six Flags America at all. Of course, I'm so pissed they got rid of King Dakar, but that's another thing. Another thing. Well, here's something that I cannot believe I found was going through some of my Disney stash. Does anybody remember Summer Night-tastic at Walt Disney World? I found this Summer Night-tastic was off the chain because you had, let's see here, you had the Main Street Electrical Parade, you had Twilight, Twilight Tower Terror, had that going on. Also had the Summer Night-tastic fireworks show. Insane, absolutely insane. And what else do we have? Sounds Like Summer concert series, and we had the Rock and Glow dance party at Hollywood Studios. I mean, this is the type of stuff we used to get um, at Disney. And I think I forgot where I got this big, huge guide from. They used to send this stuff out. I think I got it in the mail. I don't know, but this was back when the old Fast Pass was running. No Fast Pass Plus, just regular old Fast Pass, where I was the runner. So you had somebody who was a runner, and you would go and you would get the tickets, get the Fast Pass tickets, and it was all park was open dang near to 1 a.m. This is why I fell in love with how the parks are in the evening, because it's just a different type of vibe, and I'm a night person, so I'm like, let's go, let's go. Braylon says, yes, I remember. Tinkerella says, those were the days of Disney. Yes, this is what we used to get. Like at night, it was a whole nother vibe. Ooh, look, and there's Donald and his nephews at the water park. This I can't even remember. I can't remember when I flipping got this. I mean, it's funny when I would go on Disney trips and everything. You have the Disney box, right, where you put like all the brochures and all the stuff and everything. Wait, do they no longer print out the large quantities of park maps? They print out the park map, but the park maps are like, what are they? They're like a trifold, real thin trifold. Nothing like this. And I want to say, no, they used to have these. They used to have these, put them in the front of the park. I mean, this was literally intelligence. So I remember when I went to Disney, of course I was older, and I found this. I'm like, wait a minute. They tell you what time the shows are, where all the restaurants are, what time. I'm like, and it's free? Really? Okay. So yeah, I grabbed these. Hey Sarah says, I still have 1995 Epcot MGM Studios and Magic Kingdom maps. Oh my gosh. Studio is one I would love to see. You know what? I may have to do a show for channel members where I go find my Disney boxes. I'm it's stuff that I packed up and forgot about. And looking back at it, especially now, brings back such great memories. I found luggage tags that I used to get. When you're about to go on your trip and then you get this Disney mail and it has your luggage tags and everything in it. Yes, Goof R35, back when Disney was still magical. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sarah Russ says, I have 1995 Magic Kingdom MGM Studios Times Guide. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I used to grab a lot of the parks maps and times guides and stuff like that for scrapbooking. One day I'll get back to it. Way before cell phones, there was paper. Absolutely. Oh, I remember Pal Mickey. I remember Pal Mickey. Yeah, I do. It was actually, I liked Pal Mickey. I thought Pal Mickey was kind of cute. It was expensive, but honestly, it was a nice piece of technology. If I had one, I just for farts and smiles. I try to see if it still works. Who's calling me? Nobody I need to talk to. Okay, all right. Let's see one more thing I'm going to show you guys, and I have to thank Theme Park Casual for sending me this because this was just hilarious. Anybody know who was holding Mickey's hand? And Fire says, for some reason, I think it's this guy. Wallen Ballin says, I'm afraid to say who that actually looks like. That's hilarious. That is flipping hilarious. I love it. I love it. I think I still have my 90s WDW Vacation VHS. However, my happiest celebration on earth and Year of a Million Dreams era DVDs have been lost to time. LOL. I do have a vacation VHS somewhere. As a matter of fact, I think I found it and I put it on a bookshelf. I want to get it converted to digital. Well, you know what? Somebody probably already did that and put it on YouTube. But yeah, there was the VHS cassette. And I think I got mine right before they started converting to DVDs. I'm gonna have to look in my stash. I really am, because I kept all that stuff for a reason. Goofar35 says to really boost fun to guests, Universal could release paper maps for their epic universe. Yeah, they could. It would be like a keepsake, right? Because now so many people have phones, and there's digital signing, not just digital signing, but there's actually signing in the ground over Epic Universe. If you go over where like the splash pad is, it has all these little markers around the splash pad that give you directions to where stuff is. Pretty cool. Yeah, it don't really look like wall. Going Shogi says, now that's a weather vane. Are they for sale somewhere? I'd buy one. I would totally buy one for real. I'm waiting for Hall of Presidents to open, right? I'm waiting for that one to open. So they can actually give us a Trump animatronic that doesn't look like Hillary Clinton. Yep. Luke, Dave, Stacy. Aaron, Luke, Dave, and Stacy. Yes. That was peak Disney campaign. If you know, you know. Stacy is so popular. She used to have a channel on when you stay at a Disney park on the resort channels. Stacy had her own channel. And Camera Girl would be like, "No, I want to watch Stacy's must sees." Like they had that sucker in a loop. I'm building a park. It's a great park. The best park. Yeah. Yeah. I so freaking love it. I have so many ideas popping in my head about this. Yes, flamingos are very, very, very pretty birds. And I agree. I miss them. Yeah. Stacy was it. Stacy was a legend. Stacy and her friends. I'm telling you, I should watch that DVD over and over and over again. Well, let's pop on over to some Epic Universe news. So Epic Universe is still in preview phase, which is going on. It officially opens on the 22nd of May. So, of course, one of the things that we'd seen, and I have to thank Wallen Ballin actually for bringing this to my attention, I think about a week or so ago, that the hours for Epic Universe were like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Now, the problem with that is days are getting longer right now. And this park has so much lighting and features that are amazing for nighttime that it's just like the sun's not going to go down till like I want to say barely 9 o'clock, because when I would leave Epic, when the park would close around 9 o'clock, you could see like the sun just starting to get dark. I mean, it gets dark very fast in Florida, just because of the way Florida is situated. So I'm just like, if you have this park with all of this stuff, with the fireworks they're supposed to be talking about, the drones they're talking about, the area around, the water fountains, where they have the water fountain show, which, by the way, the other fountains around the park are synced to the main fountain in front of Helios. There's lighting all around that green area where you get to sit at, and the night features that they have going on with the lighting is crazy. Again, reminds me of a little bit of a Summer Night-tastic, the way that they do that. So now the park is going to be open until 10 p.m. each night, which I'm very glad that Universal has done this. So at least for, I would say, park closes at 10. You say probably the park doesn't, like all of the park, like they don't lock the gates, like they lock the portals at 10, but the gift shops and everything except for Starbucks, I don't know what the heck is going on with them. It's going to be open till like at least 11:30, I would say. So people get to enjoy the lighting that's going on, because the park is fabulous at night, especially when you're up front and you can look through where Luna is and see all the way across to Helios, the weenie of the park. It truly looks amazing, amazing at night. Goofar35 says, kind of odd that Epic Universe is holding back. They could really own Disney hard over the summer. As a theme park fanatic, I agree with you. If I put on my engineering hat, I understand. This park has not had, I would say, this park has not been load tested. Load testing means it's got a large amount of people to move. This park hasn't been, I would say, again, opening day, you got a ton of people. Right now, it's kind of operating like in a semi beta phase, so to speak, for the most part. So there's some features that aren't running, some of them that are running, like with the Ice Dragon that I love so much. It was running one day, and then the next day it wasn't running. And then another day it was back up and running and spraying, cool smoke, I would say, that they had that running. So I think they're being overly cautious at this time, which I agree with. You always want to, at least I am as the engineer. There's a joke that says eventually you have to shoot the engineer. Under promise and over deliver. People are more likely to accept it when you under promise and you over deliver what you do. So they are going to own Disney for a while. They really are. I don't see anything that Disney has that's going to top this. What, they've got like a nighttime parade that's coming, a villain show that's coming, DVC lounges, and a so-called family-friendly pirate bar. Nah. So I think with Epic, they're on the right track. I know we've been waiting for this park for a long time. Again, as a theme park nerd, I would say I need it all. I want it freaking all. But the engineer in me says no. And a prime example of that, Battle of the Ministry. But we're going to talk about that. Go and Shogi, thank you so much for that $5 super chat, my dear, and for being a member. Let me hit you up. This is pathetic. Yeah. Join in, folks. It's yodeling time. Here at
Elephant green screen effect.
Every time I go by Gatorland, I think of Lester's. If you go back and you watch a Goofy movie, and Goofy and Max stop at Lester's Possum Park, they see this little kid screaming, "I don't want to go!" And the mouth looks like a skeleton. Direct replica of the gator mouth over Gatorland. Going Shogi says Universal is coming for Disney in California too. They just announced their new summertime festival. Yes, mega movie summer. Back to the Future, JP. I can't remember what that is. And How to Train Your Jurassic Park. Sorry, and How to Train Your Dragon. You don't need a special ticket for this one, just a park ticket. I love this. I absolutely love this. Universal just like pluses up the experience or something extra that you have to pay for. I mean, there's some stuff, if you want it, like the Mega Movie Parade, you don't have to get an interactive bubble wand, but if you do, add something a little special to the parade. So that is amazing, amazing. I cannot. I mean, I've seen the footage from like the fan fest event. So the mega movie summer looks absolutely amazing. I love it. Thank you for that super chat again, Going Shogi. Tom F says hello from South Carolina. Are at our range, but wanted to say hi. Well, thanks, Tom. I hope you and Linda are doing well and enjoying your time out there. Good seeing you. Universal will dog walk Mouse Place for a while, and it's not just because of the eye-wateringly amazing new parks and rides. Yes, it is the experience and the attractions at Epic Universe it gives you an emotional response. Remember when Disney attractions used to evoke that like emotional response? Like one of my favorites is when you go to Mickey's PhilharMagic, and in one of the scenes where the clouds like fade away and you're like riding along with Jasmine and oh my gosh, with Jasmine and Aladdin on the carpet ride. I love that. It's just, when the whole thing, you get such an emotional response. And that's what Imagineering used to be about at Disney. It wasn't just the attraction, it was the cue. It was what you saw. It was the stuff that you saw but you didn't think, that you saw, but it gives you an emotional response to bond you to that particular piece of lore. All I'm going to say, Monsters Unleashed. Is it Monsters Unchained? I keep getting that mixed up. Either way, Monsters on the Loose, go into Super Nintendo World, and as soon as you come out of Peach's Castle and you look around and you see just everything that reminds you of the video game, How to Train Your Dragon, when you watch the Untrainable Dragon show, and the cloud screens come up, and next thing you know, you see Hiccup riding Toothless over the crowd. And Ministry of Magic, when you walk in, when you go through that flu powder, go through the flu, and you're in the Ministry of Magic. So, yeah, it's do not do not underestimate what people feel with these experiences at Epic Universe, and also Epic. It is actually a park. It looks like a Victorian pleasure garden, honestly. Sarah Russ says Universal Hollywood new event mega movie summer sounds so cool. Yes, it does. It really does. Folks are seriously going to enjoy that. That clip still weirds me out. Yeah, it weirds out a lot of people. Oh, don't mention Toonami. Oh my gosh. More Nintendo stuff is coming to Universal because they have the license for Pokemon here in the U.S. So there's going to be more stuff coming for sure. Mark my words, if they ever make expansion lands Back to the Future or what have you, who knows? Who knows? And let's see. Go and Shogi says, I'm doing Fan Fest tonight. I'm so excited. Dude, you got to let us know how it goes. I'm especially geeking out about the anime that they have represented. One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen. That's going to be amazing. I'll be Frankie Bounding. I love One Piece, but I ain't dyeing my hair blue for the cosplay. Just get a wig, man. That Untrainable Dragon show was so raw and emotional. Yeah, it was. It was. It's fun to watch and just see the kids lose their freaking mind over flying dragon. Who's ever seen Flying Dragon? Really? I'm just mad China got it before we did. Well, anyway, 78 of you folks watching, thank you so very much. This is the Resort Recon podcast. I'm your host, Reina Creole, along with some of my friends who will drop by if and when they have the time. So let's go to the next subject that I really want to talk about. And again, I'm going to be of two minds on this. There's the theme park aficionado in me, and then there's also the engineer in me. And it's one thing to irritate park fans, but if you have a park fan that's an engineer, we really get ticked off when stuff doesn't work. So coming to us from that park place from my friend Marvin Montanaro, who's over there writing this article. Obviously, he's written it. I've actually talked with him, chatted with him about this. Epic Universe Harry Potter ride closing amid technical issues and virtual queue backlash ahead of grand opening. That's the concept art. And as you guys have seen in my videos, the real thing looks better than the concept art. I kid you not. Universal Orlando has confirmed that Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry, the flagship attraction of Epic Universe and its Wizarding World Land, will be closed from May 10th through May 16th during the resort's final preview period. While the queue remains open for self-guided tours, the ride itself, considered by many to be the crown jewel of Epic Universe, will be offline as Universal attempts to fix what's become an increasingly frustrating situation. Now, I will give props to Universal, especially the Epic Universe team members, for allowing you to actually go into the atrium part. So you can have that experience of going through the flu, arriving in the Ministry of Magic, and being able to enjoy that amazing queue. I mean, it is something else. And I can pretty much see them bringing in, snack carts and stuff like that eventually. But if you think the bank at Gringotts, at Escape from Gringotts, looks true, the British Ministry of Magic just blows that away. So I'm glad they allowed people to do that, to at least have that experience. So that was cool. But the fact of the matter is, you have got an attraction. Granted, it's crazily complicated breaking down, even when people have virtual queues. So let's see, to run on. Let's see here. Technical problems have plagued the ride since April. I didn't get to Butterbeer crepes. I'm just saying, I didn't get a chance to. Epic Universe Harry Potter fans were thrilled when Battle at the Ministry debuted during early previews in April, but it wasn't long before the attraction revealed its darker side. Frequent breakdowns, inconsistent operating hours, and day-long closures became commonplace. The ride was noticeably absent during most of the team member preview period, and that is not good. And when it has been operational, it's rarely opened before midday. Universal has not officially commented on the nature of the problems, but industry insiders point to complex ride systems and state of the art show elements that may still be undergoing final tuning before the park's May 22nd grand opening. How would I put this? It's almost like, okay, let's bring up Rise of the Resistance at Disney. I know. I just want to say for some pixie dusters who may be watching my stream, I am no respecter of persons when it comes to parks. I throw shade equally at either one. So this is one of those rare moments where I'm throwing shade at Universal. All right. The fact that it seems this ride had not exited, how would you call it? Hasn't exited integration testing, which is what it is with all of these complex systems that you have going on. This is like Tower Terror, but on steroids. With what's going on with it. If it hasn't reached a steady state from integration testing, it has no business going to beta testing. And as much as folks wanted to be opening day, if they were running into problems like this, should not have advertised this attraction being open. I'm trying to remember the last thing. Some parks have opened where there has been an attraction that has not been opened yet because they're still running. I would much rather they fix the problem and at least let people keep experiencing the atrium, because that's kind of like where people want to go, or people want to take their pictures and everything. But don't half-ass an attraction like this. Rise of the Resistance, again, Rise of the Resistance is nowhere near as good as the Battle Ministry attraction. However, they're running into that same model with Disney. So I don't know who thought it was a good idea, but it wasn't a good idea. And maybe y'all should have hired me for IT. I'm just saying Universal. Let's see. Hopefully Disney. Hopefully Universal will not make the same mistakes as Disney with Tiana's. They definitely didn't with respect to the attraction quality, for sure. But yeah, I agree. I hope that rather than open this thing half-assed on opening day, that they push it back. So my hope is that they have it figured out uh, by opening day. I really, really hope. I really, really hope that they do. It may be a case of, again, steady state integration testing. If all of those elements aren't seamlessly giving a repeated performance to a certain benchmark, then they shouldn't release it. But there's a lot of people working overtime on this, and I have much more faith in Universal Creative than I do with Imagineering. So y'all get it together. I'll give them credit for shutting it down for a week to figure it out, because it's much better to do this during previews, because if it pulls a Rise of the Resistance opening day, it's not going to be good. Not going to be good at all. Braylon Lee says there have been a lot of reviews about the wait times and rides breaking down at Epic. I've seen that with respect to breaking down. It may not necessarily be a breaking down. It may be of reducing capacity, or we found an issue, so we're not going to be able to run this particular attraction. Remember, the whole park is still in what's called technical rehearsal phase. So not all elements are there. It's not the full experience, may not be there. So I think And this happened with Minecart Madness. I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. So the wait times, again, that depends. Sometimes some attraction isn't open, so everyone goes to the other one, and and the wait times go up. But like around the afternoon, 2 or 3 o'clock, it pretty much fades out. Like by the afternoon, I think it was 15-minute wait for uh for Monsters Unchained. I keep getting that mixed up. I think it's Unchained. Yeah. Let's see. Next one, they'll figure it out. I have faith. Yeah, I do too. Like I say, I have much more faith in Universal Creative than I do Imagineering. And the fact that they're going to shut it down for 10 days, yeah, yeah, they'll get it right. Because remember, you have Universal team members and Universal Creative that are going to be going through this thing and riding this thing and figuring out what is going on, what the breakpoints are. Because remember, you've got, if you've ever been in Tower of Terror, you've got the vehicle that goes up. It's like an elevator. Remember, you go up one floor, doors open, doors closed. You go up to another floor, another couple of floors, and then the vehicle rolls through. It's going in, let's see, it's going basically in, you know, X and Y axis. I know I'm getting a little technical here. X and Y axis. With Battle of Ministry, you've got an X, Y, and Z axis. It's like you're going up, down, side. So it's much much more complex. So as long as they keep the queue open, I think they will. I think they will be fine. Yeah, but they really do not want ink on their face with that attraction not opening, because there's going to be some pissed off guests who bought tickets opening day when the park is supposed to be open and running and can't get on Battle of the Ministry, because I guarantee you, aside from Super Nintendo World, which with Super Nintendo World, remember, they have that thing 3 iterations. Like it's been in Japan, it's been in Hollywood, and now of course it's at Orlando. So not really much breakdown, but a lot of people go there. Battle of the Ministry is something that's never been seen before. Opening day, people are going to be running to the right. I'm just saying. Let's see. Jay had mentioned they were possibly doing crowd testing where they had coasters down on purpose. Do you think this is legit, or are they trying to kick the can down the road? I think it's legit. Case in point. And I think I talked about this on my stream. So the first day that I went, you guys saw pictures, there was a 2.5 hour wait for the Donkey Kong kart ride, mainly because Mario Kart hadn't opened yet. So once Mario Kart opened, the wait went down to about, let's say, 90 minutes posted. However, we were probably in line for about 2 hours because they were trying to put more carts on the track. And it's not just a simple case of putting the carts on the track. It's like you got to put them on the track. You have to safety check it. You have to run it, make sure it's, running the way that it's supposed to be. So I think it's totally legit. It's much more acceptable for them to do testing like that and have the coasters down when it's in technical rehearsal, because you'll see all the signs around the place that say technical rehearsal. Some things might not always be running. Another case in point, I remember when I went to Universal, or remember when they had the Ghostbusters show. I went to that in technical rehearsal, and literally they were starting the show. They were, you saw like the effects with the accelerator packs and the streams. They had to shut it down in the middle of the show, reboot, restart everything, and do it again. So it's technical rehearsal. So no, I don't think they're trying to kick the can down the road at all. Again, I trust Universal Creative way more than I do Imagineering, because Universal's got a track record. So thanks for that, Meg B. That's a very good question. Go and Choki says they need to calm down. Stressing themselves won't help get it up and running. Everything new needs fine tuning. Exactly. Exactly. It really does. It really does. Hey, Bonzo. Hello, 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 hello. Greetings, one and all. Never buy tickets for opening day. Yes, it's going to be crazy. And another case in point, Magic Kingdom when it opened in Orlando, Florida, it was not a flawless day. Go back. Go back to I think Defunct Land. Does Defunct Land have the video? I think Defunct Land has the video. But yeah, opening day for Magic Kingdom was not sunshine and roses, let me tell you. Hey KB, good to see you and welcome, welcome, welcome. I figured it was all part of the technical rehearsals. Makes a ton of sense. Yeah, again, as someone who's who's an engineer, and not that it was a theme park, but I worked on some mission critical type stuff before a launch. There's where it's like we can't move the date. Okay, so what is it? Can we do? Folks will be putting in a lot of OT. A lot of OT. If your salaries, you're kind of screwed, but you can get extra time off. Don't worry about that. All right, virtual queue system sparks guest frustration, and this is a big, big thing. Something that I've experienced, and it's really pissed me off for a lot of reasons. To manage the ride's frequent downtime and poor throughput, Universal implemented a virtual queue system, but that has come with its own share of backlash. I think this is a real issue. Guests have complained about extremely limited availability each day. They're going to control capacity. So I get that. Still annoying. As a park aficionado, it's annoying. As an engineer, I understand. Frustratingly short return windows. I have seen that. The tightest return windows I've ever seen. So that was aggravating too. Confusion and lack of transparency around how and when to secure access. Now, this is the thing that I primarily had a problem with. And here's the reason why. When you have the app open, all right, and regular person, later going Shogi, your rational person, okay, I need a virtual queue reservation for, Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. Okay, let me go in the app, find Harry Potter and the Battle. Okay, go through there, Harry Potter land. Okay, Mystery Magic. Here, hit attractions. There's a traction button. Okay, Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry. Hit that button. Okay, and the virtual queue icon should be there. First of all, thank you so much, Go and Shogi, for gifting those 10 Reina Creole memberships. I sure do appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. And make sure that you thank Go and Shogi for gifting those memberships. I sure do appreciate it. Got something special coming up for the members. So please do keep posted. I gifted Pro, tag you it. Let's see. Did I see Nita sneak in? Hey Nita, the chat jumped on me. I'm sorry if I didn't get to you there. So anyway, like I was saying, click on Harry Potter and the Battle of Ministry. You see the virtual line icon. Okay. That's what I should click, right? A rational person would do that, right? Absolutely. However, I had that up and I'm like clicking on it. Queue opens up at 11. Do you know that button stayed inactive for 15 seconds before it lit up and before I could try to access the virtual line? Everything was gone. And one time I did have to jump in and out between the queue, back to the attraction, back to the virtual queue, back to the attraction. Had these really tiny windows that kept just like disappearing like crazy. So, my major point of contention is that IT did not think this out well at all. If you have part open where you've clicked to access the information about the attraction and it says Harry Potter, the Battle of the Ministry, obviously, and then they'll have that little circle that says virtual queue. Okay, if I have that sucker open and 11 o'clock hits on the dot, 11, 3 o'clock, or 6 o'clock hits on the dot, that sucker should light up. And it didn't, which tells me it ain't robust. And that is what pissed me off. Because people, and here's the thing about UI. Oh, I'm so Erica, did I not send a link? Did I not send a link? Oh, you know what? I probably did, and we were talking so much in the Dart chat. Here, I'll send it again, my dear. I'll put it in the group chat so you can come on in. Okay. All right. That's done. Okay. I think I put it up too high. I'll see you in a bit, my dear. Here's the thing about user interface design, and I'm putting my engineer hat on because I've had so many developers tell me, oh, well, the user shouldn't do that. It's like, it's not about what you think the user shouldn't do, it's what the user will do. And your user, if they go to that page and they see that virtual line, icon, it's grayed out, they're thinking, oh, okay, when time hits, it should light up. And it didn't. Hey, Erica, how you doing, my dear?
Good. Happy Mother's Day or Mother's Day weekend.
Oh, thank you. Happy Mother's Day weekend to you too.
Thank you. Just got finished eating. We grilled, so I had to eat.
Nice. Oh my gosh, you just reminded me. I got to go by Publix and get some lobster tails.
Oh,
So much cheaper
mm.
to do it yourself, actually. So,
Yeah, I'll bet.
Oh my gosh, that and yeah, I'm getting that and shrimp. I can't wait. I love seafood. I'd get crabs, but they're kind of tiny. They're kind of tiny. So yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
talking about. Oh, sorry, go ahead, my dear.
You have to catch me up to speed because I've been in the kitchen and I haven't really been tuned in at all in the last hour.
Oh, no, no, no. We were going through some Epic Universe type of stuff. They're extending hours, so the park's going to close at 10 p.m. So it'll be open from
Oh,
9 p.m.
nice.
to 10 p.m. Starting with opening day on the 22nd. So we're talking about that, but also talking about what's going on with the battle at the Ministry attraction, because between it not operating consistently and now they've shut it down for about 10 days to figure out what's
Mm.
going on, which makes sense. It's still in preview mode, but they need to shut it down to
Mhm.
figure out this what the heck is going on with this complex attraction. And yes, you are able to go down into the atrium and at least experience getting transported to the Ministry of Magic. So at least there's that. And it is amazing walking around in there. I mean, it is crazy. It looks just like the movie with how much space is in there. And of course, you see the banner with Dolores Umbridge fixing her hair before they take her mugshot.
That's funny.
It's just it's amazing to go in and see, but of course people want to experience, the battle at the Ministry attraction. And it's got a lot of technical problems because it is an extremely complex attraction, especially with the addition of an additional vector of direction. I know, engineer nerdy stuff. So many points of failure that can happen, and they need to have it operating consistently with integrating all those elements. So they need time to shut it down, look at the data that they had, look at what failed because it failed. They need to do what's basically called a root cause analysis for the whole entire attraction before they go back and before they go back and before they go back and fix it. I've been in that situation. So we're also talking about the virtual queue. It is extremely limited each day, understandably. Park folks don't like that. As an engineer, I'm like, yeah, we're probably going to do that with a small amount of people so we
Yep.
can collect data. I get that part.
Right.
Short return windows. I know that probably frustrates some folks. I was like, wow,
Mhm.
that's really short. Like, I think it was 15 to 20 minutes or so that they had these windows there. And confusion and lack of transparency about how and when to secure access. Now, that third bullet point, that's what really irritated me as someone who works in IT, because when on the app, or you go in this epic universe and it's like, oh, okay, go down to Ministry of Magic.
Mhm.
Okay, there's the attraction for Battle at the Ministry. Okay, click that. Okay, there's this little icon there that's grayed out that says virtual line. Okay, I'm thinking all I need to do is be here and wait. And as soon as the time comes around to drop those virtual queues, guess what? That thing should probably light up and I'll be able to get in. No,
Doesn't work like that. Not smooth at all.
no. I've
So
personally had it like around 11 o'clock. I'm like
mhm.
there, and that thing didn't light up for like 15 seconds.
Oh gosh.
And another time I had to keep jumping back and forth between the attraction description and entering, to try to enter the virtual queue. It was it was nuts, and it was an absolute mess, and there wasn't anything definitive that said how you should secure access, how to do it. You kind of had to guess at it, which is really annoying. So it's like you have to do this based on how your guests would use the app, not how engineers want to use the app, because engineers are the worst people in the world. That's because we do not think like regular human beings. We just don't. That's why we're engineers. But from the perspective of your park guests, it's just like, hey, I go to this, click I click the attraction, where it says Battle Ministry, I click that. Another window opens up. Okay, there's that little icon. I just got to wait for that to light up, right? I couldn't believe
Nothing.
that every single freaking time. And by the time it
And by the
did light up, it's gone.
right. So it works for other people, it's just hit or miss is what it is. And by the time some people are actually in after the glitch, then it's too late.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Yep.
Gee,
It is way too
that's
late.
really and it's so many questions on that, like, in terms of speed, and it glitching out. I mean, internet speed to are they not using enough bandwidth, and it's just not, you know, smooth in that regard. I don't know anything about apps and how
I
apps are built and how they work, but
I could see the server getting hit, a
mm,
lot, but the fact that it didn't light up at all, like I could see if it lit up one time and you hit it and then you go into this one here, that would make sense because it's like at least it lit up on time to give me that, you know, signal, hey, I can go in and use it. But that's how a user would experience this. And somebody didn't think about how a guest would actually use this. And this is what I used to do for a living. And I'd fight with developers on this all the time. And they pull stuff like you can't say I don't know what I'm talking about because I used to be a developer, right? I used to get in so many fights and didn't care. It was a great day when I made a developer cry. You had the developers that were just like, if she finds something's wrong, that's not good. It's it's probably legit. The ones are like, what do you mean I wrote bad code? There's writing bad code, and then there's situations that popped up that you didn't expect. Okay, yeah, but they did not do this right. And I get the frustration of so many people because I'm frustrated that it didn't work the way that it should have worked from a user perspective. But if you think that's bad,
Mm.
okay, and they are keeping the queue open. Somebody actually was able, and I thought it was in this article here, somebody was actually able to get a virtual queue. They didn't even have a ticket for the park. They were
Heard
able to
about
get a
that.
from their house for their
Yeah.
friend who had a ticket.
Yeah, they were able to basically hook up their friend. I'm like, "Wait a second, don't you have to be logged into, like, your account?" At least with Disney, because 'cause I'm used to how Disney does theirs. In order for it to
Hmm.
apply to you, you have to be logged into your account, and either you link your party, or you don't, and it's just you,
Hmm.
but there is no giving it out, to friends and family. I'm just kinda curious, like, how what?
I
Like,
I
whoa,
know the
that's a big miss.
I don't get it. I mean, you do have to log in. Well, there's two things. Yeah, you do have to log into the app. So I do know that. But yeah, I don't know how they managed to do it from home, which tells me again, they've effed up the security with that. They did not go
Yeah,
through there to basically say, hey, if you have a ticket for that day, not this ticket for
right.
any day, if you have a ticket for that day, you should be able to access the virtual queue. If you do not have a ticket for that day and you try to access it, shouldn't work.
Right.
Again,
I mean, it
universal.
should just link to your ticket on your account, just like it does on
Hmm.
Disney. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just wow.
That is a permissions part of software development that y'all missed. Security, that's a big thing. I can't freaking believe they missed that.
And it seems so simple. That's a commonsensical, duh. If you're gonna have a guest log in and they're gonna pick
Hmm.
up a virtual queue, then it should be only attached to their account and their
Right.
ticket that's also attached to their account. Like, how in the world does a guest get something like that and to just, "Here, let me give it to my friend." Like,
Hmm.
jeez.
I how would I put this? I hope they are not offshoring portions of their software development because that's
Mm.
what this smells like to me. Because offshore software development is like a freaking boondoggle. It seems cheap, but it's only cheap until it starts causing problems. Like I've had to deal with offshore software teams where it's just been a mess. It's like they'll put software in, they'll put code in, and it turns out the onshore people were the ones that have to figure out why certain things weren't followed, why certain problem issues were not called out as problems. When you say, does it work?
Mhm.
We hope so. No hope so. Does it work or not? And you'll
Oh, ugh.
get three different explanations as to, well, I'm like, yes or no. Does it work
I'm
or does
glad to
it
see
not?
you're so confident in the product you just developed by saying, "I hope it works," instead of, "Oh, no, it will work," because 'cause we're that
We
confident in our talent.
I know. Like we hope that it works and then it turns out that it doesn't. It's like, well, when did you find out this was a problem? Oh, 3 days ago.
Yeah, 3 days too late. Mhm.
It's oh gosh, it's nuts. But yeah, I hope
Mm.
and I do have more confidence in Universal Creative than I do with Imagineering. So I think with the fact that it's 10 days that it's been shut down, that they have enough data to figure out
What's
what's
wrong?
yeah, what's wrong and what's going on. So again, I if I had to
Mm.
hedge my bets, I would say this should be working. I'm Don't be surprised if maybe it's working for several hours in the morning and then it may shut down for an hour and then they bring it back up. I wouldn't be too surprised if they did that. But this is something that they have to get right opening day. They cannot have another Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure because that was a mess,
Mm.
and they can't have a Rise of the Resistance 2.0 experience
Oh,
at
or a Tiana's. Mm.
yeah, yeah. So they really can't have that. So again, kind of like Go and Shogi was saying, and how how I've been saying, I have faith that they're going to fix this and have it ready by opening day. I think if they have it working by opening day and get rid of the virtual queue, that's the other thing, because there isn't really transparency when you have a standby line and they have to cut the standby line off. That's something that you can see, it makes sense. But a virtual queue,
Mm.
I've heard so many people around me like, how come that didn't work? That didn't work. That's a hot freaking mess. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Hey, Mama
Hey,
Lugo, how you
Mom.
doing? How you doing? Good to see you and 76 of you guys hanging out with us
Yeah.
today here for Resort Recon podcast. So good to see all of you guys. So let's see what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do. Oh, before I go, I have to show you something. I have to show you something. 1 second.
Mm.
I found this, like, I have a Disney box, of course. So I found this in my Disney box. Do you remember Summer Night Tastic?
No, I don't.
Oh my gosh, they had like
I
the
have
parade, they had the Main Street Electrical Parade, they had like this fireworks show at night, they had a rock and glow dance party
no, I
the
don't.
Studios Park. Sounds like oh my gosh. I
What
found this.
year?
I don't know what year this. I want to say, what was it? 2000? Was it 2008? Was it
Oh, that
2008?
might explain it.
I think so. It's like it was before the Fast Pass Plus, because all they talk
Oh,
about in this is Fast Pass, like the old
okay.
school, the old school Fast Pass. But yeah, I found that in my Disney box along with two Photo Pass DVD cases.
Mhm.
I'm like, huh.
Wow.
I can't wait to look at this stuff again. It's like, back before the dark times, before before Bob Iger. So we're
Wow.
gonna
Dum dum
we're
dum.
yeah, and I find
Wow.
it funny. They've got not Snow White on the front. This is the executive summary that they put out. You got live action Stitch, which this movie is gonna be crazy. Hey, Mama Lugo, and make sure I said hello. Hey, everyone. This movie is gonna smash the box office, and it has
Mhm.
zero really to do with Bob Iger and everything to do with the fact that the animation movie was so popular and the merchandise. You don't have to really do anything
Oh,
to sell it. It's
I
it's
forgot to
just
tell you. I went to like a Home Depot store out here,
mm-hmm,
and I actually took a picture of it because I meant to send it to you, and yeah, Stitch sells out here too, and they had a huge I mean, this it was like this. It was a
mm-hmm.
garden figure of Stitch. Yeah, I mean, this huge, and it's to put out in your garden, and it's like 179 euros for it. I thought I
Somebody
mean,
bought
I
it.
thought I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's" I didn't realize it was that expensive, but yeah. I mean, it was a decent size. I was like, "Well, if you really like Stitch and
Mm-hmm.
you like gardening, you know."
He sells his inflatable for Halloween, where he's dressed up like Dracula. That sold out. Christmas, they had one of him like with this Christmas sweater
Mhm.
on, and so that sold out at Walmart. You couldn't get to it. I have so many darn incarnations of Stitch. It's like it's crazy. It literally sells itself. So with these prepared management commentary, this is like what they put out. They used to put out something really boring, this really boring PDF, but I guess they saw what Comcast was doing, decided to make theirs a little bit sexier. The only thing really that you have to think about or concentrate on, because I could go through the whole entire earnings report, but then my eyes kind of cross, even though I understand what it is. But the thing that I'm interested in the most is when it comes to experiences. And this is what they're saying here. Our experiences segment delivered strong results this quarter, driven by the outstanding performance of our domestic parks and experiences businesses. Here's something I have to let you guys know when it comes to the executive commentary. This is the fluff that they give to the CEO so as not to, how would I say, tamp down on as many questions as possible. This is the rose colored glasses. We're doing great, nothing to see here except good stuff, move along. That's pretty much what this is. So they're talking about, it's seeing performance, domestic parks and experiences. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Disney Cruise Line, I will say Disney Cruise Line is possibly the best value that you can get right now when it comes to Disney. Uh I'm not a cruise person. I'm really not. I'm too type A. Don't put me on a ship and try to tell me everything that I have to do. No, I literally said, leave me alone. I don't want to dine with people that I don't freaking know with weird looking macaroni and cheese. It does not look like macaroni and cheese. And I'm just gonna go either, on my deck. I can sit out there and enjoy, or go upstairs and sit there, or go to this spot. Don't freaking bother.
Okay, that would and I know I was getting a little bit off topic here, but in terms of the cruise line, because that's one thing I've noticed about Disney cruises, it seems to be what you describe right there versus other cruise lines, you're just kind of free to find your own entertainment, whatever's going on the ship, and do whatever you want. You can go drinking, go swimming, you can go dancing, go find a movie, you can find a show. Like there's all kinds of stuff. Where at Disney, it just seems almost, I want to say bed and breakfast, but not really, where you have almost like an itinerary, and then there's just nothing else to do. There's no
They
mall. Like Royal Caribbean, you feel like you're like in a city. You just kind of roam around, and there's tons of merchandise and jewelry stores. It's like being on a that's am I correct on that, my observations?
you Yeah, you are. And granted, this is, when did I go on this cruise? Was it, I think I went like in 2006 or something like that. I didn't like how regimented stuff was. When a ship was in port, I didn't know this. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go down and go do some shopping. No, when they were in port, the stores were closed, so there was nothing to do except for go on an excursion, which I wasn't interested in. Going to Nassau, I did not look interesting to me whatsoever. Uh, I don't think there were any shows going on. Of course, the kids clubs were running. They had stuff, for them to do. But it's just like, unless you want to go to a spa or just hang out on your deck and look at what's going on. It's not. It's very regimented. And at night, of course, like they have the Broadway shows, but of course those are scheduled. Um, there's the sit down meals that are scheduled in the various restaurants that
Yeah.
they have. Um, what else? But yeah, it's not like a Carnival Cruise Line, because I've been on a Carnival ship. Actually,
Mhm.
got to visit a Carnival ship when I was in grad school. Was in port. And we were walking around. They had like the casinos, they had all this others, like you were saying, like a mall. They had like faux surf thing, I guess, that you could do. But there was so much stuff that was going on during the day. And with the Disney ship, it's kind of like during the day, unless it's at sea. Day at sea is a little different. They'll actually do more stuff, and of course, they'll have like a Disney gift shop open. It's not like a mall or anything like that. That's all they'll have. But if they're in port, there's nothing. There's nothing going on the ship. So
Mm,
that's what I didn't like. They seem to regiment you into doing stuff. So
yeah.
I said, next time I go
Plus
on a Disney cruise, I have to be a rebel. It's like, leave me alone. Only person I want to hear from is my cabin steward. That's it.
See,
That's
that's how I am. I have to have
mhm,
my freedom. I if I don't wanna join in on themed this or themed that, you know, um, I should be able to just skip out on that and go do something else. But it just seems like the ships are just limited. I mean, yeah, they got a Disney store, but as big as those ships are, it doesn't feel like a mall where you have just stores upon
mhm.
stores, you know?
Nah,
I mean,
it's
they're pretty, don't get me wrong. They're very Disney pretty, but to be out in the middle of the ocean, like you say, like, it's like I don't wanna say church retreat, but in a way, because you know how church retreats are kind of
oh,
regimented, you know
yes,
what I mean?
that's
And
exactly
their
that's
theme
exactly what
there's
it was
always a
like.
theme. You got you got your sessions and you rotate through the sessions. That's kinda like
That's how
kinda like what I compare it
Erica,
to.
that's exactly how it is, and I wanna say the 3rd night, I was just like, "You know what? I'm not going." And said, "I'm not going. I'm not going." I think I got, like, food to go someplace and just, like, was on my deck because I had an outside deck. It was towards the aft of the
Mm,
ship, but it was really cool. It's like I think it was called like a navigator's deck or something like that. So it had like the map of, South Florida, the Bahamas, and all of that. So it was cool. I got to sit out there and just chill. And it was so nice and peaceful, especially since Camera Girl was at the Disney, like the kids programming that they have on. You don't even have to see
mhm.
your daggone kid. They had Lilo and Stitch come and visit them. Literally, you don't have to see your kid. They will take you. They will take your kid places to eat and everything on the ship. You don't have to deal with them. But yeah,
Oh,
she liked
wow.
it because they said, "Yeah, we did this and we had a sleepover and Stitch and Lilo came to visit and Goofy came by in his pajamas." So the ships, if you want a family vacation with uh time for you to do other things. The Disney ships are great. The service is great. Every time I turned around, there was somebody there to help me. I didn't like having to tip people who just got me soda at the restaurants. I didn't see why they needed to
Mm.
be tipped. I didn't see why the maitre d needed to be tipped. The server I could see, but I didn't see why for everybody else. My cabin steward, most definitely, he should have gotten everything because I swear, dude never slept. Always got us stuff for for our cabin. It seemed like they were always doing stuff, making real cool, towel animals and everything. But that was it. But yeah, it's like it's okay. It's good if you want like a family cruise with something for everybody. The Disney cruises are really, really good. So I get that and why they're building new cruise ships because it's easier to build cruise ships than to build new theme parks with a lot of Disney money invested. So that's why they have more of those coming out. Set sail from the new home port
Oh,
of
wait, but they're
Singapore.
not building their own theme parks.
No, no, we're gonna get into that. We
Yeah.
are so
I
gonna get
can't wait
into
for
that.
that. That's gonna be good.
They've got these ships that they're building at the shipyards over in Germany. So they have those built. So let's see. This summer, we're looking forward to two special celebrations. Hong Kong Disneyland's 20th anniversary celebration kicking off in June. I would love to see that, but I'm too broke. As well as
Mm.
Disneyland's 70th anniversary celebration, which begins next week. I certainly hope it goes off better than the 50th anniversary bomb that they did for Walt Disney World. So I'm guessing that's gonna be a bit better. So of course they have that's going on. And then they have the same, they like to use this term turbocharge as we turbocharge long term growth with a number of strategic investments, blah, blah, blah. More expansion products and projects underway around the world. And at any time in our history, that's because Universal is chomping at their heels. That includes a robust slate of new lands and attractions in development at our domestic parks, which will create thousands of new jobs in Florida and California. Uh, when it comes to Florida, I'm going to debate that.
Thousands
That's
for
not
just
going
a
to
few
happen.
lands? That's not gonna equate to thousands.
This is why
I could
we
see, like, a few
translate this
hundred,
not.
maybe not even that.
It isn't. And it's like, okay, you create these jobs, but is it jobs that are created internally? Like, hey, we're shutting down, like case in point, we're shutting down Muppet Vision. We're shutting that down. Where are the jobs for those folks going to go? Oh yeah, we're going to
Ah,
we'll put you over there in Billings land or whatever. So is it really creating a new job when it's very
no, we're
possible
just
it's going to fill internally? I don't see thousands of new
yeah,
jobs.
we're just shifting people around, that's it.
That's what I'm thinking because I can't see, for example, like the Little Mermaid show creating thousands of new jobs. That pretty much
Oh,
pulling
no.
talent from within the
I mean,
company. So
all these massive builds, of lands is gonna take how many years? You might
knowing
as well
Disney,
double what they're projecting.
yeah, knowing Disney is going to take 5 years because it's on their dime, as opposed to like say Abu Dhabi. But we're going to talk about that in a bit.
Hmm,
So let's see, entertainment. That's the entertainment one. Turbocharged. I know they did that. There's also, let's go over here to the non-sexy uh, earnings PDF. They used to dump this PDF every time, and folks are like, "Can't you do something different?" So, domestic parks and experiences. This is what I look at. Operating results at our domestic parks and experiences increased compared to prior year quarter, primarily due to growth at our domestic parks and resorts, and to a lesser extent, Disney Vacation Club and Disney Cruise Line, reflecting higher volumes attributed to increases in passenger cruise days. Remember, the cruise lines are under domestic parks and experiences. So, theme park attendance, occupied room nights, and Disney Vacation Club unit sales. Additional passenger cruise days reflected in the launch of the Disney Treasure in the first quarter of the current year. Yeah, because Treasure opened, of course, everybody wants to get on the
yeah.
inaugural uh, cruises for that. Theme park attendance, I don't know.
See how that's worded? Just an increase in guest spending due to higher spending at our theme parks. Okay, higher spending, you mean because you hiked your prices up?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Yes.
I didn't think you'd catch that, did you, Iger?
No. Again, this is
Higher
set
spending.
up so your institutional investors are like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, increasing guest spending due to higher spending at our theme parks. Okay, so you mean people are spending like more money? It's like they're spending more money, but it's not because they're spending more in items that they want to get or experiences they want to have. It's higher spending because they jacked up the prices on everything. That's what they won't tell you. So, Erica, you're 100% right. So yeah, they do that, and higher
Sorry, and then on the
volume
next line they out themselves without even realizing it.
increase.
Increased costs primarily attributed to the fleet expansion at Disney Cruise Line and inflation.
I hear
Oh,
you,
mom
Bob.
and dad live
I would
they live on
love.
a golf course in a condo, so
I would. I
I
would
could
so do
see that.
that. I would so do that. Hey, CJ says any idiot can look up the guest attendance and know it's full of BS. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So if they're talking about theme park attendance, are they talking about the foreign parks? Because you guys are seeing my live streams. It is nowhere near the amount of people attending like it used to, say,
Mm.
back in the day, 2018, 2017, where it's like
There
wall to wall people.
there is speculation though on, from ProStream earlier this week. that Disney might be including, like, the night events.
That's a
Yeah,
good
because
point.
apparently they used to not do that. They were, like, counted separately, but there's speculation that they might be combining them now just to fluff the numbers up in park attendance. So, like,
They
the
could.
after hours events and anything that would be after hours. So it could be the Moonlight thing for DVC members. It could be a standard after hours event or even what they had at the 90s night at Disneyland, and they're just building it up,
Mm,
um, to make
that's
it look like there's
like,
more attendance in the parks, and really it's the same. It hasn't improved.
mhm. That does make very good sense because technically, not technically, it is theme park attendance, whether it's regular open hours or something you tag on for the after hours events. And a lot of those sell out
Yeah.
because of, hey, you get a park for 3 hours. And I love how they say you get complimentary popcorn and ice cream and soda. I'm like, well, you've already paid for it. But I tell
Oh,
people who
I got
go, bring a cooler, bring a collapsible cooler, and everywhere you stop, get bottles of soda and water.
yeah,
But
collect your snacks too.
I would too. Popcorn, all of it. Ziploc bags are your friend. That's me. I so would do
I
that.
paid for this, I paid for this.
I know you are paying for it. It's the same reason why if I pay for something, like I kid you not, no shame in my game. So I got like a meal at Gasparilla Grilling Games, over there. I like going in there. You're daggone right. I loaded up on extra packets of soy sauce, barbecue sauce, ketchup, crushed red pepper, parmesan. You daggone right I did. It's there. It's there. But then again, you're talking to the person who me and my sister back in the day, I kid you not, when you used to be able to self-serve Dole Whip and Captain Cook's. Do you know she went back for a refill? She said, they didn't say that I couldn't. I'm like, yeah, you're right. They did. So we went back up there, and you would have thought we worked at Dairy Queen because
Oh, wow.
the cast members didn't care. They were laughing. But yeah, we used to do that. We're just like, yeah, they didn't say any refills. Of course, now you got to go to the pineapple lanai outside, and now the cast members
Um,
do it for you. But probably because of people like me, my sister. I know we're the worst.
oh,
Hey, Bobby's World. How about attendance from corporate events that rent the park?
oh, maybe. I don't even know how often that really happens. They rent out, um,
Ooh,
conference room space in the resorts, but with complimentary. I don't even say complimentary, it's all paid. Even the company's paying for it if they get, tickets to the parks.
yeah, because they'll usually get discounted tickets. Like case in point, I want to say
Like a
even with
group discount.
MegaCon, they were selling discounted tickets to go to Disney. So that could possibly be part of their attendance too. Hey, we got a whole bunch of here. Why don't you just come down to Disney? But yeah, corporate events, I think attendance. I don't know.
I mean, I
That's
wouldn't put it
the point.
past it to
I
them
wouldn't
because
either.
they love to, fluff things up and obfuscate like that a lot. So it's within the realm of, of reason.
It's called cooking the books. And didn't they have a whistleblower
Yeah.
that called them out and filed a complaint with
I
the
mean,
SEC? So,
might as well include weddings too while you're at it.
mhm,
Every wedding they have in a park, like an in-park wedding.
exactly, exactly. Let's see. About thousands being employed. This had to come from the Duchess of
It's
Disaster.
a disaster.
Because I look at the Disney job listings. I know how many people go internally. Disney likes to, and Iger likes to throw in, oh, yes, well, we're creating thousands and thousands of jobs. But how many of those jobs do you bring in labor from outside the country? Mm, yeah, just saying. Now you have to ask how many packets of ketchup you want with it.
Oh,
It's,
yeah, and they
yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. So let's see. Yeah. So that's basically it. And I talk about the international parks. Decrease due to lower theme park attendance and increased costs. Yeah, okay. I don't really care about those resorts really because they're not wholly owned by
mhm,
Disney, if I remember correctly. Who knows? Besides the
with the
fact that they,
exception of Disney Paris.
oh, you know what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they Disney Paris, but even then, when I watched the Imagineering story on Disney Plus, they mentioned that the way Disneyland Paris works is the money that's made there, their profits, they can't
Mhm.
bring that to the States. It has to stay that money has to stay here in Europe, and it's reused. So it goes that's probably why Disneyland, they actually put it back into the parks. So it's not like Disney USA can just take it and then do whatever they want with it, like,
Mm,
for example, like, subsidize anything else, like entertainment.
mhm.
So Disneyland Paris is still able to get, you know, for the most part, a pretty really good, decent looking park and attractions working and everything looking really great.
Yeah, I gotcha. Gotcha. Security Deb, hey, my dear, says they also do things like inviting dance groups for special events that will add to their numbers. Yeah, which is why I do not like staying at the
Mhm.
All Star resorts
Mm.
because the dance groups, the cheer groups, the little league groups, the
I
just
won't stay at those resorts because of the freaking, water bugs and palmetto bugs,
I won't. Yeah, that and
and it
also. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, it's there's a reason some of us call it ghetto Disney. Okay. I mean, it used to not be that way, but it turned into being that way. And some folks who need to figure out that you cannot use the pool as your bathroom. I'm
oh,
just
that's gross.
I'm just saying that happened one time. We've never been back. We have never been back when we saw that happen. It was just ridiculous. But so that's it. That's how they fluff it, saying everything is fine, nothing to see here. And I'll say this about consumer products. Let's see. The increase in operating income at consumer products was due to higher licensing revenue, including a benefit from the release of the licensed game Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals is
Mhm.
saving this daggone company. Yes,
Is it? I'm
it is.
not seeing it.
They are getting so much money from Marvel
Oh, it's a game.
Rivals because
It's
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 like
like a
Fortnite.
game. That's
It's like Fortnite. So they've got the license to use, like, say, the MCU characters, but the art looks like the old school comic books. I mean, you've got like buff looking dudes. I mean, you the Fantastic Four in Marvel Rivals looks amazing. I mean, it's nothing. It's basically what they did is like, oh, we'll give you the license to use the MCU characters. And the company, who I think is a Chinese company, they were just like, yeah, so we can use this license and we can make the characters the way that we want to make them. So they look like Silver Age Marvel, back in the day
mhm.
Marvel characters, but but they're MCU. So yeah, Marvel Rivals has been making a ton of money, and Disney gets a cut of that for licensing. So that's
Okay.
that's a very big deal. People are going to play that more so than they are putting Fortnite. What was that Disney Fortnite one-off thing? Because they put money into Epic Games, so that's what they're planning on
Mm.
doing. But Marvel Rivals is crazy with how many people play that. Let's see. Don't go to Aquatica, Lorena. I heard it's worse. Oh no,
Mm,
never going. I'm not going to Aquatica. I no
that's
no.
sad.
I go to what's that thing? Volcano Bay. I love Volcano Bay.
Mhm.
Love Volcano
It's
Bay.
sad
That
because Aquatica used to be a really nice park,
yeah.
and it we saw a video recently, and this is the Aquatica in Texas, in San Antonio, and that park looks great. I mean, it looks clean, um, and I compared it to, like, the last time we went to Aquatica, and I was like, I didn't realize it, until now, but it did seem kinda dingy the last time we went, like, it just and I read on the forums or and on the Facebook groups all of the constant, incidences, we'll say, and the employees just kinda stand around allowing these things to happen without reprimanding the guests or getting in there immediately and cleaning things up. It's really
Mhm.
sad because when it first opened, it was a great park, and we would go because and we loved it. We preferred it to any other water park 'cause the cost was great, the food
Mhm.
was good, um, and it just kinda I don't know, like, I wish SeaWorld Parks would, get in there and clean it up.
Yeah, because Volcano Bay, I love it. Oh my gosh, that big, huge wave pool is just the best. I could spend all day at just that wave pool when they like you hear like this gong that starts ringing and people get excited because they know the waves are coming. Oh my gosh, it's such a wonderful park. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. But to go to I know it takes us a while to get to the main topic, but we keep you all informed. So, in yet another game of soft shoe, I'm gonna say in Chicago where Billy does that tap dance while he's in court trying to defend his client. The Walt Disney Company and Mural announced plans for Disney theme park and resort on Yas Island, Abu Dhabi.
That'd
Folks who don't know, Abu Dhabi, besides where Garfield always tries to send Nermal in a box to Abu Dhabi. That's the first time I'd heard of that place when I saw it in the cartoon. But Abu Dhabi is in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, borders. I think it borders Qatar, Saudi Arabia. The Arabian Peninsula. So supposedly they are going to do this. Walt Disney Company and Miral, Abu Dhabi's leading creator of immersive destinations and experiences, announced an agreement to create a landmark Disney theme park resort in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Night, Baba L. Good to see you. Good to see you. Grocery store
Hi,
calls,
mom.
burritos tonight.
Mm.
Ooh.
Well, we had grilled steaks, ribeyes. Yeah.
I found a recipe YouTube channel. Who is it? AB Smoking and Grilling.
Oh, I have
He's
to
like
look at that one.
he's
Okay.
Creole. Oh my gosh, he had this recipe for seafood enchiladas. I was
Oh,
taking notes. Yeah,
interesting.
seafood
You
enchiladas.
know what?
It's so good. It's so good. I think you look him up
AB.
on YouTube. AB Smoking and Grilling.
GB. Oh, yep, came right up.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to know all about Creole cooking, yeah, watch that.
Mm.
He has stuff that is so
Oh,
good.
yeah.
So good. Oh my gosh. But yes. Yeah, so seafood enchiladas. I'm like, yeah, I so want them. I so want them. Let's hope this version is better than the last one. Do a search for Middle Eastern Mickey Mouse. Ooh, I'm gonna have to check that out. But I think that it will for a couple of reasons. But let's see. Announced an agreement to create a landmark Disney theme park resort in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. The waterfront resort will be located on Yas Island, a world class destination for entertainment and leisure, connecting travelers from the Middle East, Africa, India, Asia, Europe, and beyond. The seventh Disney theme park will combine Disney's iconic stories, characters, and attractions with Abu Dhabi's vibrant culture, stunning shorelines, and breathtaking architecture, which is true. The architecture in Abu Dhabi is amazing. But what cracks me up um, about this, and if this line sounds familiar, it's been used before. Disneyland Abu Dhabi will be authentically Disney and distinctly Emirati. Bob Iger also said Shanghai Disneyland will be authentically Disney and distinctly Chinese. He's used this before. So it's interesting how he talks about this. Here's the thing, it's going to be fully developed and built by Miral. Disney ain't building squat.
Nope. What I think is funny is on the earnings call, they actually had that question come in, and I felt like all it was this guy kinda outing Iger in the form of a question, and the question was, "Is this theme park basically the revenue from it is it just licensing?" And Iger actually had to admit it was just a licensing deal. That's how they're making their money, so
Was that question?
and
I'm gonna ask you a
that
question.
that
Was
was
that
funny. We were
was that asked near the end of the call or the beginning of the call?
um, no, it would've been more towards the end because I got in
I know who it
a little
is.
late to Valiant stream, but it was funny. Whenever
I know
Valiant and
who it.
Pro and
I know
Jonas
who
were
it is.
laughing.
Did the guy sound like he had an Indian accent?
I don't remember because they all kinda sound the same with the mute. They all sound kinda muted on those
Okay.
calls,
Okay. The reason that
but
I ask is because the earnings calls that I've listened to up front, you'll have the ones who have dealt with so many of these earning calls that they are not impressed by Bob Iger whatsoever. And it's like, look, cut the crap. Answer X, Y, and Z. That usually starts
yeah.
up front. Then at the end, they will usually have some dude, and I'm forgetting his name and where he is from. He has an Indian accent, and he will ask questions that nobody else has the guts to bring up. Because I don't know
Oh, it's
how he
great.
got on that call, but he doesn't care. And he asked some questions, was like, dang, how come I didn't ask that? So that's why I asked if it was near to the end of the call, because that's usually when do you get to question in? Because with these earnings calls, there's a pecking order to these earnings calls. So they'll have, the old school ones who've been there, since God flipped the switch. They'll have them go first. And then the lower you are on the totem pole, the lower you are to get a question. But yeah, that's all what this is. And I'm glad he finally admitted it because this was
Yeah,
nothing groundbreaking whatsoever. It's like, yeah,
no,
we got a licensing deal, kind of like the same licensing deal we have for Marvel Rivals. Guess what? We just licensed it out. Miral's
and
gonna build this,
mhm,
and we're just gonna
mhm.
lead the creative design and operational oversight. So we're basically subcontractors for the most part.
Yeah. What's interesting to note is the timing of this because I feel like in the Middle East, they were just biding their time. I think they've been wanting this for a long time, and now that Disney's really at kind of at their lowest, it's almost as though it was done intentionally, "Oh, now it's time to come in and bite because we already have the upper hand anyways because it's a licensing deal, but we have even more of the upper hand because they really need the money. I don't know what other negotiations go into play with these deals, but I'd imagine that maybe there's more to it than just a simple licensing, and, um, it could be that they might have a lot more control than past deals with, like, let's say, Oriental Trading or not Oriental Trading, but the,
Oriental Land Company in
oh, yeah, Oriental Land
Louisiana.
Company.
Yeah.
But I just find the timing just kinda interesting because, with it's just been so many financial fails with Disney, and the park
Mhm.
attendance is low, and Epic Universe is just around the corner, and all of a sudden, you have this rich oil country that just comes in and says, "Hey, we wanna build one of your parks here." And I just find it kinda like, it just kinda makes you wonder like, why now? But then again, why not? They're already down, so it's like a good time to strike a deal because Disney's not really
Mhm.
they're desperate for money. They're so broke and desperate for money that they will negotiate anything, and those are just my 2 cents. I don't know if there's any truth to what I'm saying, but
No, no, no,
it's
I
a
agree
curious
with
thought,
you.
you know?
Disney is hurting for money, which is why, and they disclosed in the earnings report, it's hidden in there, how much stock they're buying back. And usually, when companies are buying stock back, that's not usually a good sign when they do that. To kind of contrast what's going on in with the park in Dubai, contrast that with what happened with Tokyo Disneyland, because at that time
Mhm.
Oriental Land Company, they approached Disney, and Eisner was just like, "We have zero interest in doing that. The only reason we'll do a park is if you pay for all of it, and we'll just give you consulting advice, about how to put certain attractions together." Japan said okay, and they did that. So that was like
Mm.
where they were, Disney was like, "Yeah, we really don't want to do that. The only way we'll do it is if we don't have to pay for it." Now it's just like, hmm, how can we give our shareholders a warm fuzzy considering
Yep,
Epic Universe is coming online? How can we give the
yep.
impression we know what we're doing? Hey, let's license to this place in Dubai. Let them build the park, which means it'll probably get finished finished on time.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all we
Mhm.
have to do is, just bring over Imagineers who, can do the creative design and operational oversight. Now, here's the issue that I have. That is Imagineering that is being taken away from the other parks and shuffled
Mm.
over to Dubai. Yes, exactly. Meanwhile, Disney is ruining all the OG parks and films. Disney World, what are we getting? Let's see.
Mhm.
You're knocking down Muppets to put in an IP that nobody gives a crap about. It's not like you're putting in a Bluey Land. You're putting in Monsters Inc. Nobody flipping cares about that. Okay, kids don't care about that. But you're doing that. Then let's see, you're going to work on a Villains Land that we might get in 5 years. Who the heck knows what's going to happen with that? Giving us a nighttime parade, which we should have had 5 years ago. Giving us a new villain show over at the studios to kind of let people know, hey, we're building a business, villains land. None of that is intriguing. Well, except for the nighttime show, but we have already seen that nighttime show over
Mhm.
in Tokyo Disneyland. So it's not like it's something brand new and innovative that's coming to us. It's already in practice. They're just taking it from Japan and dropping it over here. So there is nothing that I can
Mhm.
think of. I mean, Tropical Americas over in Animal Kingdom. Yeah, okay,
Mm.
whatever. None of that seems interesting at all. Compare that with you've got Epic Universe, you've got Super Nintendo World, which I can tell you right now, people are not eager to leave Super Nintendo World. It's kind of like Wizarding World. Nobody's really trying to leave unless they have
Mhm.
to leave. They're just like, we're not leaving. That one, Isle of Burke, that is going to be such a darn hit with families. It's insane. Besides the fact that you get to meet, Toothless. Pack it in. That 2 hour wait is going to be worth it. So you have that going on. You've got Dark Universe, which is crazily, crazily themed. My only beef with Dark Universe is that the Burning Blade Tavern is too small. I'm just saying,
Mm.
it's too it's too small. It's the theming is great. It looks like the ceiling, like looks like there's fire cracking through the ceiling. You've got like the monster hunter that comes through and actor talks uses the drinks. They've got like whatever monsters he killed like mounted to the wall. It's such a cool place to hang out with your friend. It's gonna be book solid like around Halloween, but the whole atmosphere there is great. And contrast that with some warmed over IP that they're trying to do. And it's obvious they're not really doing anything with the regular with the existing
Mhm.
parks. They keep doing stuff that's overseas, like bringing Frozen over to I think they put that in Shanghai. Was it Shanghai Disneyland? Or was it Hong Kong
Oh
Disneyland?
gosh.
Like the whole land of Frozen. It
Yeah,
looks
I
like it's
know, and I
straight out of a
forget
cartoon.
what it was in Paris, was it?
Let me
Or
see.
was it wasn't it Tokyo? No, it was an Asian park. It was one of the Asian parks.
I think it's
But
I
I
can't remember if it's
thought
Shanghai or
Paris
Hong
was
Kong. You know what? I think it's in yeah, it's Shanghai Disney.
Shanghai.
Shanghai
I thought
Disney.
Paris was supposed to get an Arendelle too, but I don't think that ever came to
It
fruition.
didn't. I know I saw a video of like Arendelle at Shanghai Disneyland, and it's just like,
Oh,
how the heck did we not get this?
it's
Same thing with
beautiful, just
Zootopia.
like in the Fantasy Springs at
Mhm,
Tokyo Disney. I mean, it's just sad that the good Disney talent is overseas.
mhm. 'Cause they license it and they put it, over there, but not really want to give us anything over here. Yes, Phantom of the Opera. Oh my God, I
Mhm.
cannot emphasize how cool this is in Monsters Unchained, where you get in the experimental vehicle and the first room, I mean, after you pass Igor, the first room you go in before you even see it, you hear this old school organ playing the music from the Phantom of the Opera. And you go in and you see just these flames that are coming out from the organ and dude just playing. And then you go on the other side, it's like you're hanging over all the fire. And then you see the Phantom of the Opera turn and face you. Dang it. It is so cool. It's so absolutely cool that they did that. But yeah,
Another thing too, have you seen some videos that have been not leaking, but that some, LGBT people are putting out, and they're offended at this park being built because of where it's being built, and they're calling Disney out because they
yes.
made such a big fuss. They made such a big stink over the parental rights bill in Florida, and then here they are building a park in a country where it's literally illegal, and you can be, prosecuted
Yes.
for, you know, for that lifestyle being out in the open. I mean, it's just that's just how it is in those countries, and yeah, they're I think it's kind of funny.
It's funny and also quite hypocritical because
Yeah.
China
Mhm.
has the same attitude, but no one said anything, at least that I could hear from the Skittles Nation. Here's the distinction in case y'all try to send me hate comments and I just ignore you. There's a difference between folks who are gay who want to live their life and who want to enjoy the parks, because for the longest time at Walt Disney World they had gay days where they're like, it's okay if you hold hands or anything like that, but no PDA. And it was, it was unsanctioned, but people knew. It's like, okay, if you don't want to, you probably don't want to go during this time here because there's like, the gay days that are going on. It wasn't anything super overt or anything, but folks knew it was there. It was an open secret. It's totally open
Mhm.
secret. China is not very LGBTQ friendly. And they opened
No,
two
neither
parks over there. And none of y'all in
I
the Skittles
remember
Nation
there
said squat.
I was gonna say, I don't remember anything coming of it in the Asian parks.
They didn't say jack because apparently China has enough money to yeet you and keep your mama quiet. Okay. That's pretty much it. I didn't hear a thing. We didn't hear anything about, the Uyghurs that were prosecuted, that are persecuted over there. We didn't hear the darn live action Mulan movie, which was ass. They actually thanked the Chinese government, and didn't they? I think they filmed it near where political prison was.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
that was the big thing about the live action Mulan movie. So you didn't hear anything about that, but when you had the Parental Rights and Education Act, which was basically saying that there are not to be any discussions with relations to bedroom issues, to quote Pro, for kids who are not emotionally ready to handle that discussion. And that was pretty much it. And so people were like, well, what did they talk heterosexuals? I said, none whatsoever. Gay, straight, whatever. That's not a discussion to have with school age children who cannot handle that type. They're not emotionally equipped to handle that type of discussion, at least in school. It's like, you know what, go talk to your parents about that. That's different, but we're not doing that in the classroom. And you have folks that were flipping out. I kind of analogous. Skittle Station is kind of analogous to what I used to call the gay mafia when I lived in California. It's like you had gay people who just wanted to live their life, and then you had the gay mafia that just wanted to scream, holler, and make everybody's life freaking miserable. That's what Skittles Nation is. So I find it extremely hypocritical that you had these folks trying to say that DeSantis, wasn't LGBTQ friendly. They're going to be prosecuting LGBTQ people. And it's just like, this doesn't have anything
yeah,
whatsoever to do with it.
they were running with it, and it's like, you don't even realize half the stuff that's coming out of your mouth that's would be unconstitutional, just because we're conservatives doesn't mean, we're that extreme and unconstitutional like that, but, um, no one's saying parents can't raise their kids any way they want. It just doesn't need to be in schools. I'm sending my kid to school to learn how to read and write and do math.
Hmm.
You know, um, I'm not sending them to school to be taught about religion and, certain morals that should come from parents.
Exactly. And that's all it is. And even in Florida, you had a lot of Republicans and Democrats who were like, yeah,
Oh, yeah. Overwhelmingly, they voted for it. And then overwhelmingly, DeSantis got voted back in as governor
yep,
because he's a no BS guy, very common sense.
exactly, Nita. It's just like it's not a discussion
Yeah,
for younger
right.
kids to have. So it's just like, why is it? It's like I'd say, why do you want to groom kids? Like, why do you want to expose children to this? And this is where Bob Iger stepped in it because Bob Chapek was like, look, we need to stay out of this. And we just need to focus on entertainment that is accessible to everyone. That's what we want to do. And that's what he tried to do. But apparently you had too many members of the Skittles Nation blowing up his phone and Iger's phone. And then Iger posts on X how dangerous this is in the state of Florida. And he basically picked a fight with DeSantis and then said that they were going to do everything within their power to overturn this law. So, you mean to tell me
Yep.
a family oriented company thinks that they know better about how to raise kids than
And
the citizens of the state of Florida?
yeah, or more to the point, than parents themselves. And the thing is, it didn't just hit Florida, residents in Florida. This hit worldwide. It hit the entire consumer demographic
Mm-hmm.
of the family unit, the traditional family unit, which is a heterosexual husband and wife that produces their own natural kids. Even if divorced and remarried, if
Mm-hmm.
there's still heterosexuality, then it's producing children. And Disney just Iger completely alienated. I mean that, and then the numbers and the stock, everything just started. It still is to this day. People haven't forgotten,
Mm-mm. Plummeted.
and it still shows.
The way he talked down to people who are basically saying, "We own Florida. How dare you Hicks not do what we tell you to do?" And it's just like, look, you don't own the state of Florida. And basically, FAFO, DeSantis is like, maybe
Mhm.
we should revisit that Reedy Creek district. How come they get all these privileges? And that's what I was thinking too. Like, how is it that they can do what it is that they do? It's like, okay, let's revisit that. And they started, Disney did this whole campaign along with Iger, and there were even I remember some of you pixie dusters online saying that Florida was gonna go under and it's not business friendly and all of that. And usually this is from people who don't even live here. It's like, look, Florida is not the same as California whatsoever. And y'all found that out. So a lot of people had issue with that, but the park in Abu Dhabi, now all of a sudden you got
Yeah,
problems with it, right?
where it's I am interested to see, Coach Shogi was, mentioning something that he said it and he was making a joke, but now it's got me thinking, I don't know, maybe there's something to it. How, Princess are we gonna see Princess Jasmine in her real form?
We're gonna talk
Saw
about
there,
that.
and I was
We're
like, "Oh my gosh." Really just say that.
Princess
But
Jasmine. What about Ariel? She's not gonna be wearing the shell bra anymore. Uh,
I mean, they'll probably have her in her human form, maybe dressed in a ball gown where she's covered versus her mermaid form.
mhm,
With Princess Jasmine, though, it is a curious thought because, I don't really know if it really depends on the Middle Eastern country. Some are more strict than others. Like, you
mhm.
go into Saudi Arabia and women are wearing the full, even all you see is a little, like, even a screen, on their I don't know what they're called, but burqas, is that what they're called?
Yeah, with the burqas, but usually with
Mhm.
and this is just me from my experience. I remember as a kid, the Saudi royal family used to like crash Disney on the regular. I mean, we're talking they would occupy whole floors of the hotels. I remember I was in grad school. I knew this girl. She was from Saudi Arabia. She was part of the royal family. Girlfriend had this amazing apartment and her own servants. Okay, so we were like used to seeing them over here, and they're a lot less. They're a lot more liberal. But the UAE, Abu Dhabi, they have so much money over there. So things are not as strict in that area as opposed to some of the other Middle Eastern companies. However, there's certain things that you are not
Yeah.
going to be able to do. Like you may not have to wear like a full hijab. If you're a foreigner, you're not expected to do, to do that, but you are expected to dress modestly. That's what they expect. The whole thing, like when in Rome, do that. So it's,
Yeah.
they do cater to Westerners, but there's a limit.
Even then there's rules because
Yes.
I think PDA is not al even if you're married, uh, no kissing in public, and I mean even as simple as a peck on a cheek. Like, it is none whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't even know if he's eating, but I could ask him because 'cause he's been
Mm-hmm.
deployed to Kuwait and Qatar. and he would know more. Raph would know more of. But there again, it depends on the Middle Eastern country. They're not created equal. Strict.
Yeah.
They're all strict, yes.
Mhm.
But it's what level of strictness are you dealing with?
Exactly. That's why you're supposed to know before you go. Real Wade Nation, do you really think this is true? That what is true? That the Abu Dhabi park is coming? That's
I
confirmed.
believe it.
That's totally
Yeah,
confirmed that
they
they're going to do that.
I mean, the fact that, the Abu Dhabi, they're the ones paying for it, Disney is they're not having to lift a finger financially. It's
Hmm.
just money in their pocket. It's
Yeah,
literally just cash. It's a
that's
cash
good.
cow for them. Well, hopefully, it's a long-term cash cow for Disney.
Hmm.
Let's hope it's a success once it's built, because that's where the test really comes in is after it's built and the long term. Um,
Yeah,
oh, there it
I
is.
think they're going to make money. Yeah, this quote right here: "Rowdy American hypocrisy at its finest." Disney willing to sue over laws in the U.S. yet cozy up to Abu Dhabi's brutal policies. ESPN time to step up or shut up. So, you have people openly complaining about this, but yet radio silence when it came to the parks in China. So yeah, I know some folks are probably really, really, really upset. There's not gonna be Pride Night. I'm gonna tell you that right now. There's not gonna be Pride Night. There's not gonna be Pride merchandise. Then again, that's their country. So that's very, very interesting. I'm forgetting who it was on X who was saying they couldn't wrap their head around the fact that Disney would cozy up to a country that is in direct opposition to their ideals, their company values. I said, I get it. I get it. Disney said that they were all about diversity, but yet they yeeted true Black American culture and the Splash Mountain ride for this warmed over IP that is not only insulting, but actually has shades of actual slavery in it. So I get it. So if you think Disney actually cares about diversity, that Disney actually cares about sexual orientation, they do not. The only thing that Disney cares about is money, especially when you have institutional investors like BlackRock and like Vanguard who are like, okay, the stock price needs to stop dropping. You need to fix this. I don't know. Wherever you need to get this money, you need
They're op
to get this money
they're
from.
opportunists. They're narcissistic opportunists. It's whatever is going to benefit them in that moment. Whatever the trend is or whatever they think they're gonna push to get away with, to make a buck or to get notoriety in this or in that, no matter the cost, doesn't matter the consequences, if they think it's gonna put them up here on any pedestal, whether it be a financially or reputation, then they're gonna do it, and it doesn't matter, who they offend in the process, and, I'm not even gonna say at the end of the day it's business, they're narcissistic, and they really don't have an actual moral compass. It's just
Yeah.
whatever is in the moment and how it's gonna benefit them.
Exactly. Because have you ever heard a apology come from Disney? No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no.
Well,
Hell will freeze over twice before, before they admit to it. But this article from Pirates and Princesses. So shout out to Clownfish TV for putting this out here. Things Disney might censor for their Abu Dhabi theme park. Now this is just speculation, but it's speculation that is warranted because this isn't like this is a park being put in the US or even a park that's
right.
being put somewhere in Western Europe. We didn't have questions like this pop up when Universal announced they were building a park in Great Britain. Nobody really blinked about that except for is we going to have Lord of the Rings or we not, not going to have Lord of the Rings. But you announced you're building a park in a Middle Eastern country. We got issues. So let's see here. New park, new playbook. So there's actually an article in the Daily Mail, which is actually really, really good by someone who's actually been over there. So what they're saying here is behind the magic, Disney is preparing a long list of modifications to ensure compliance with the UAE's conservative cultural laws, including censorship of characters, costumes, and my favorite, guest
See,
behavior.
this is where I think they have the upper hand when they came in because Disney financially doesn't have they're so broke and so desperate for money that they didn't have that kind of negotiating power or even beggars can't be choosers, you know, not that Disney begged, but they're in a position where they can't say no to the income, to the
Mhm,
cash, and they
mhm,
can't say no to, well, we're walking away if it's going to be this way. You know, sorry, either you do our characters in this form the way they originally are, or it's a no deal. They're so desperate for money. I think this is where on the Middle Eastern side, they knew they were going to have the upper hand on. And they got in there right at the right time when Disney's already down.
mhm. Exactly. Very good point. What about Donald Duck? He wears a tie.
I mean, he's a duck, he's a bird, you know? And there's some things that you can
He,
get
I,
away.
I
But yeah, I get it. It's satire. It's funny.
he might be wearing, the UAE garb, which is
Oh,
understandable.
mhm.
But yeah, let's see here. What's likely to change in Abu Dhabi? Okay, Ariel's wardrobe. Number one, this is the first one to hit me too. The Little Mermaid's trademark bikini top is expected to be redesigned with full coverage to comply with modesty standards. I don't know if they'll redesign it or, like you were saying, Erica, just to have her wear her human outfits. Like I think she's got the blue. Is it the blue? I think it's the blue dress that she's
A
wearing
blue
when she's
dress
in the
or
yeah when she's in the
or her ball
carriage.
gown dress.
Yeah, her wedding
Mhm.
dress, her pink ballroom dress, especially the green dress. That would work too, because they have done that at
Mhm.
Walt Disney World, which I liked even better. I mean, they have the traditional shell and fins and everything, but she has this beautiful sea foam dress that she wears at uh, the Royal Table, Cinderella's Royal Table restaurant. This is
Oh, okay, yeah, I know
beautiful.
what dress you're talking about.
You know which
Yeah,
one I'm
yeah.
talking about?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think they probably would just go with that one, and it's not like the kids wouldn't know that there was Ariel because they know from Ariel being on land in the human world the outfits that she wears. So, whether they redesign the bikini top or they make it look like the I don't know, she'll maybe be showing too much skin, but like the one with the live action Little Mermaid that looked like a sports bra, it didn't look like obvious seashells kind of hanging out like pasties or anything. So yeah, they have ways around that. I don't like nothing. I don't think that we haven't ever seen before. Minnie Mouse makeover. Mini short polka dot dress will likely be replaced by a longer, more modest version, better suited for a family focused Middle Eastern park. What do you think about that, Erica?
Maybe, maybe not. Let me ask Raph real quick. Hold on one second.
Sure, 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 sure. Yeah, I hadn't thought about Minnie Mouse's dress. I mean, yeah, unless they make it, I don't know, mid calf, if they made it like a T length style dress, possibly. Low key calling, low key calling Minnie a 304. I thought Minnie was pretty innocent, but I guess because of her bloomers and everything, um,
Oh,
yeah, I
he
don't
said
know.
he's not sure.
Not sure.
Yeah, that's a tough one because on the one hand, you know, I know to an American, she is modestly dressed, and she's a mouse, you know, so
Mhm.
there's, um or maybe they'll just lengthen her dress and you won't see, like you mentioned, the bloomers, you won't be able to see. Um,
That's
or
that's what
or
I'm
they could just
thinking.
put they could very well put, a really pretty Middle Eastern style
'Cause I'm
dress on her. I mean,
they could. And in a way, I would kinda actually like that a bit better. I guess for a standard mini costume, like, they make it, like, T-lengths or bloomers aren't showing,
yeah.
how they
They'll
extend it.
probably
I
puff it out a little
Yeah.
bit so it has that Western it'll still look Western, but
Mhm.
it'll still more like a ball gown, but not
Yeah.
crazy ball gown, but
Mhm.
she'll have a crinoline under it. It's not like it'll be,
Yeah. So it's just
like
be
a sheath. It won't be a sheath style.
Mhm.
It'll be that A probably maybe like an A-line style with the crinoline under it to kinda puff it out and give it more of that Western,
Mhm.
look.
And that's what I'm thinking. It's like they'll probably do that, and of course have a Emirati style outfit for her as well, kind of like they have at the China parks. So it's like Minnie
Yeah,
has her
mhm.
standard Minnie outfit, but then she also has like a Chinese dress outfit. I think
Yeah, a
Waipo.
kimono and
Yeah, she'll have like a Waipo outfit, or
I
like in
think it would
Japan when she
be
wears a kimono.
I think it would be adorable to see her wear something in that culture because you know they're gonna make it very colorful and the fabrics are gonna be beautiful. It's not gonna look bland and boring. Um, but, I'm kind of excited to see what they come up with. Uh,
Ooh, I love pictures. I'm looking at. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if we get this, if Minnie wears this, I'm sorry, I
I
love
mean, that's
it.
awful. It's beautiful, but it's awfully mature looking for a character like a mouse, like a female, cartoon mouse, but it is a gorgeous it is
It's
very
like
beautiful.
it's like they would
Yeah,
have
like,
to make
see
the
bright colors
colors.
like that, like the
Yeah.
pink and the gold, um, or even a really bright red with instead of polka dots, maybe they'll do more of that print with white, um, or
Ooh.
like stars,
Or to
like
even
like
have like the polka dots, but filled in with like say maybe silver
mhm.
or
Oh, that'd be
something
pretty.
like that. Yeah, with like bright ones. I don't know, like something bright. So it's like I could see, I could see something like that. Bright
And
colors.
she might have something on her head that kinda dangles,
Ooh, okay.
like a headdress, but that's, more jeweled
Mhm.
versus her signature bow. They might keep the signature bow. They might consider that,
Okay, first of all, can I
to
just
be
say
okay.
I love the flight attendant uniforms for
Mhm.
Emirates.
United
I've
Emirates.
I've seen them in Orlando Airport. I'm like, dang it.
Yeah. Girl,
I,
have you seen Christian will go on these, like, rabbit holes and just watch the United Emirates, like, first class, like, what their first class looks
yes,
like in their airlines. Oh my god.
I saw that and I'm like, is that for real? That's
You
really what
you
that's really what their first class like looks like. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean they're gorgeous, but also there is a fashion industry in the in
Mhm.
the United Arab Emirates. So yeah, I could see that. I could see
I mean,
them
they're
doing
showing
that.
ankles. It's not like they're not allowed to
Yeah,
show ankles. I am seeing women it's not like, the Victorian period where
like it's
you
your
can't show your
ankles, like
calves and your ankles.
so you can see dad ankle. Remember dad ankle. So we have the banning of LGBT Skittles Nation characters. Middle Eastern specialist Karina Getz told the Daily Mail that she expects, let's see, how many have here? She expects Disney's LGBTQIA plus characters to be excluded entirely, given the UAE's strict LGBTQ anti-LGBTQ Skittles Nation laws. This aligns with the statements from the U.S. State Department, which confirms that same-sex relationships are criminalized in the country.
Mhm.
Here's the thing. It's just
Um,
like people really aren't gonna know that you're gay unless you exhibit that flamboyantly, honestly. But yes, they are criminalized. It's not just the UAE who has laws about that too. That's criminalized.
mm.
Same thing in China. Same thing in a lot of African countries. It's not new whatsoever. So you don't have to go, but if you go, that's something to be.
You're gonna have to be in your closet, basically.
Mhm.
I mean, and for the rest of us, like, there was a visitor dress code right there.
Yep,
It's not like there's only rules for one sect of people. There's rules
exactly.
for everybody.
It's like when you go to foreign countries, like I was always told, it's like if you go, you need to have an idea of what's culturally acceptable when it comes to dress, when it comes to, comes to all that stuff. Not that I didn't have any issue like in Europe or anything whatsoever, but like other countries, they would tell you,
Yeah. You
it's
better know how to place your chopsticks in Japan because if you place them in the in the wrong way, uh, they'll look at you and be like, "This ain't no funeral."
oh, I need to look that up.
Yeah, I kinda forgot what they are now, but you really had to be careful with your chopstick placement because there's a particular placement that I guess they
Mhm.
do in, like, funeral ceremonies or something. Yeah, so I was
Mm.
always very particular about where to put my chopsticks. On the
Now
side,
I'm
on the bowl, in the bowl, sticking out, is that a no-no? Yeah.
See, now I'm paranoid because I use chopsticks all the time.
It's just little
So
customary things. I mean, I was always, like, cognitive when we were in Okinawa.
Ooh. Oh, I hope they didn't look at me weird and chepping there though then, I guess. Let's see. Visitor dress code. Guests will be expected to follow the UAE's public modesty laws, avoiding clothing that shows excessive skin, e.g., tank tops, short shorts. Basically, don't dress like you're going to Universal. Not for nothing, but
That's gonna be hard because it is so freaking hot in their country. I mean, it's like what, in the summer, it can get up to 120 degrees. That's in the shade, people.
the shade. You're gonna be wearing a lot of linen. Okay. You're gonna be wearing yeah, you're gonna be wearing a lot of linen, loose uh loose coverings. It's yeah, it is hot. And of course, bikinis will likely be limited to pool areas only. Well,
Oh,
which
I don't wear
makes
bikinis
sense if
anyway.
it's a hotel pool that's kind of like, protected. Layered per existing Disney policy, layered clothing may also be searched on entry, especially in high security zones. Which does kind of make sense. I mean, I've seen people with especially if they're Muslim, where they have longer clothing. Also seen like a lot of people who are Indian, especially Indian women who are wearing like saris into the park. That's one thing. So that doesn't surprise me. Let's see. Disney has censored before global context. Disneyland Paris, alcohol was initially banned at the park's opening in 1992 to maintain a family friendly image, but later permitted after pushback from French guests. That makes zero sense to me to ban alcohol
Yeah,
at a
in Europe,
park in
because in
France.
Europe
I,
in Europe, drinking is totally different. In some countries, it's introduced when you're a child, it's wine and it's diluted, and it's perfectly okay as long as your parents um, are with you. I wanna say that could very well be France, I may be wrong.
mhm,
I think is it France or Italy? They actually do allow pregnant women to drink a little bit of wine
that's
now and
right.
then, which sounds crazy to us, but
Mhm.
for whatever reason, they found some kind of benefit to it. But Yeah, it's not drinking
Mhm.
out here is not the same as in the States. It is a cultural experience. It is not just to get plastered, and
No.
you see it everywhere. I'm not saying that Europeans can't get out of hand, but by and large, the drinking is about the experience, not about getting wasted.
'Cause all I know is in the UK, that's where I saw real vivid examples of the term Euro trashed. Yeah. But that's then again,
Yeah.
that totally explainable. Go look at the videos on YouTube. But like for example, in the States, well, let's put it this way, in the French and Spanish colonies, especially in Spanish Florida, you had sangria that was part juice, that was part wine, because that was actually safer to drink than the parasites that were in the water potentially. So that culture is there with that. Also in New Orleans, even to this day, I was like, what, wine with breakfast? When do you do that? Every restaurant in
Mhm.
New Orleans will serve you wine with breakfast. That's like totally acceptable. That's the part that comes from French culture. But even in Walt Disney World, because the drinking age is higher here than overseas, I've seen some like young people where they're like 18 and they want to drink and they're asked for their ID and they're just like, no, I'm sorry, we can't serve you. You have to, you have to be done. You have to be 21. So I have seen that. American elements were scaled back in favor of European fairy tales and architecture. Well, that's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, you're gonna build a Disney park in France, you would think it would favor
Yeah, better
European.
look French.
Exactly. Exactly. Let's see, Hong Kong Disneyland. I love Hong Kong. Food menus were adjusted to include local favorites like dim sum. Okay, that's a no-brainer. I would think that you would do that. Feng Shui principles were used in the park layout, including angled entrances and avoidance of unlucky numbers. I did know that with Hong Kong
Makes
Disneyland.
sense.
But yeah, Hong Kong, here's the thing about Hong Kong Disneyland, because remember, Hong Kong used to be a British colony. So Hong Kong, there was a lot of money there. So when it got switched from Britain and China took it over, a lot of people from Hong Kong moved their money overseas, and they left because they're just like, we do not know what the CCP is going to do. So Hong Kong's a little different, as opposed to Shanghai Disneyland. Avoided potentially sensitive topics like Tiananmen Square or Tibet. China don't like you talking about what happened in Tiananmen Square all these years ago, or Tibet. Those are verboten. You can't talk about those. Removed Western style displays of affection. Mm, and tone down character interaction to respect Chinese norms. I need to look
It was
further into that to
mhm.
find out, um, is it that no shaking of hands? I don't know, but I need to look that up because I'm very
Maybe
curious.
not maybe not as, um, cozy, like how we'll say Prince Charming and Cinderella will nosy up to each other, nose to nose.
Mm,
Maybe that's too intimate of a gesture, so instead, they kinda look at each other adoringly versus really, really getting in close, almost like they're leaning in for a kiss, but they don't kiss. Maybe
okay,
that's too close.
I could
That's
kind of
my guess,
relate
I don't
to that.
know.
Because foreign countries, I mean, they don't really do the whole. There's displays of affection, but it's, how would I put it? I would say it's very polite and very formal.
Yeah.
I would say it's not like, snogging your boyfriend,
Think of it
playing
as
you,
like how
everyone.
think of it as how the royal family conducts themselves, the
Agreed.
British royal family. You don't see them holding hands. Very, very rare are they captured in a private, which shouldn't be captured, but it's whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but for the most part, you can tell they're together. You can tell they, love each other, Kate and Will, and um,
Mhm.
you don't have to be physically all over each other to know that
Mhm.
someone is clearly in a relationship.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, CJ, they don't like ghosts. Uh, over in China, Chinese don't like that. I forget why, but that's like another taboo thing about ghosts. I think
Is it like bad luck or something?
something like that.
Like I have like a bad juju kind of thing.
Yeah, I have to look it up again, but it's like they just do not. It's like no, we don't like ghosts. Tokyo, well, Japan's totally different. I'm telling you, shoot, watch the original Japanese version of The Grudge. Shoot, oh my gosh, I had to sleep with the lights on. Let's see, attractions were localized with Japanese themes. The Haunted Mansion featured yurei, traditional Japanese ghosts. Yes. So instead of
Mhm.
the ones we're used to seeing, they have yurei. Dang it, I want to see that. Halloween and Christmas events embrace kawaii culture and seasonal Japanese traditions. Yeah, because they have like Cherry Blossom Festival, they have like Children's Day, like all of these Japanese festivals and other traditions that they have that are represented in the park. And that's one of the things that made Tokyo Disneyland so attractive is the way that they would do these things so kind of differently. So yeah, I get that. I get that. Splash Mountain, okay, this is where I get pissed off and I'm gonna have to correct people. Splash Mountain was rethemed in 2024 to remove references to Song of the South after criticisms over racist stereotypes. One, there were no racist stereotypes, they were animals. Two, it was based on oral stories that were told, brought over from Africa to the Caribbean, and then brought over to the Americas. There were stories that my grandmother told me, and that a lot of them were stories to teach children morals, how to interact with people, how to be courteous to people, how to recognize when someone's trying to take advantage of you, and sometimes having to think very, very quickly when you're in a situation uh, you can't get out of. So there wasn't racist stereotypes, but that's what they sold us. That's what they tried to sell us. Abu Dhabi laws and customs Disney must follow. So we're going to go here. Dress code expected covered shoulders and knees, loose fitting clothing for women, and modest attire for men. So you can't wear your street lingerie that you do at the gym, like the really, really tight outfits, compression. Can't do that. No tight clothing, spaghetti straps, shorts above the knee, or midriff bearing outfits. Disney will likely enforce stricter standards than in its US parks. So I did you see the viral video where this girl, she was like, she just had everything hanging out and Disney said you have to change your clothes. She's like, I don't have money. And they like gave her a credit to buy a shirt to cover up.
Yeah, I heard about that. Real quick though, what are some of the other parks in the area there? Don't they have a Warner Brothers park?
Oh, in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, don't they've got other same
They do have other parks. I don't know
because
which.
you could find out based on the other parks that are already there what the dress code is going to be for guests because it's not going to change from
Now,
Abu
let's see.
Dhabi.
There's even places you can. There's even guides online about how to dress when you're over there. So I think like at Disney, like you can't wear spaghetti straps, can't wear like super tight tops or anything like that. So yeah, Bermuda shorts, no Daisy Dukes booty shorts. Can't wear that. You can't have your pants down around your ass crack. Okay, can't have that, going on. Behavior and expression, although I do like this, expected respectful conduct, especially during religious holidays like Ramadan. So no throwdowns in Toontown, no cussing at your relatives because they ticked you off. Uh, you know, none of that. Not allowed public displays of affection, LGBTQ plus visibility, like pride wear, stuff like that, or behavior deemed offensive. That's kind of like a gray area, but they need to say exactly what that is, which probably includes being, well, I don't think they're serving alcohol in there. I was going to say drunkenness. Violations can result in fines or arrests. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Cultural and legal sensitivities. Tourists must avoid photographing government or military buildings, and public criticisms of the UAE government is illegal under cybercrime laws. This is kind of like, and Erica can back me up on this. I remember the first time I went to visit Germany, I was told that you could not deny the existence of the Holocaust. Not that I would, but supposedly if you do that in public, you can get in a lot of trouble for that. So I'm like, really? That's what, at least that's what I was told at the time before I went over there.
It's, not something that's openly talked about, but in private conversations, like my former hairstylist who doesn't live in this area anymore, um, she talked about it. She talked about, what they were taught in school in terms
Mhm,
of, Adolf and it was a different take. She But it was in truth. It
mhm,
wasn't she wasn't sharing it. It was just information that w we aren't necessarily taught in the United States. So over here, they're taught that he was actually a genius in many ways. When he first started out, he came through on a lot of his promises, like the highway system here was one of them and a bunch of other things. It's just he, at some point, just went cuckoo, and that's kinda how she put it to me, putting it in her words, but in terms of
mhm.
public, like, just blurting things out and being obnoxious, I mean, yeah, that's taboo. It's not allowed, and, yeah, you can technically be reported and it would be considered, what do you call it? Like misconduct, public misconduct conduct, um, and you're not allowed to, you know, advertise the symbol of that, era of the
Yeah.
1930s. You're that is, like, that's not allowed, like, at all, like, not on clothing, on your cars, like, nothing.
Mhm.
That's yeah, that would be under the,
Yeah.
illegal territory.
I was just like, well, damn, not that I would, but I'm like, okay. So that was pretty much the first thing that I'd learned about going overseas, and you're overseas and you're there with, with a different culture. And this is also one of the reason why I tell people it's not in good taste to trash your government and the government of another country when you're a guest
Oh, yeah,
in that country. Um,
and that's drilled into you as a military family, and
mhm,
even more so when you're stationed overseas, you get more of that etiquette, and, uh, it's just you're just enculturated into that.
mhm,
Um, I can't say the same for, some of those service members that have never been stationed overseas or they somehow managed to have a full career in the US only.
mhm.
Um, they seem to not they might have some of an understanding, but living it is different, because you actively have to practice what you're told overseas.
Yeah, I mean that's like what I learned. It's like you don't, and then again, it's also proper like courtesy as well. Especially, I know with like my southern grandparents, one of the things that they seriously emphasize is like when you go to visit someone's house or whatever, you don't talk bad about your guests and you don't talk bad about your family, when when you're there. So yeah, that's something to definitely keep in mind when you go over there. And let's see what tourists can expect from Disney's Abu Dhabi park. And we'll kind of close out with this one. Family friendly emphasis. Expect classic Disney entertainment toned down for modesty. LGBT Skittles Nation characters will be excluded, and costume redesigns will reflect regional norms. I can't think of any Skittle Nation characters that are going to be that are in the parks. Um, as for
I mean,
classic Disney,
we don't even have them in the American parks because
no,
those movies failed miserably.
yeah, I've never seen one. Um, Tone down for modesty. I don't know. Just like that doesn't really bother me. Um, that that much. I mean, I don't see Snow White being toned not Snow White, excuse me. Yes, I don't see Snow White being toned down for modesty. Because her dress is already pretty long to begin with.
But they might give her long sleeves. That's,
I don't know.
you know,
I don't even know if they'll I don't even know if they'll like do that. Emirati influences will likely shape the park's design. A souk style market. Okay, I can see that. Regional architecture and Arabian folklore inspired attractions could appear alongside Disney favorites. I would love to hear or see an attraction based on 1001 Arabian Nights.
oh, that would be
I
cool.
I read that over and over and over when I was a kid. I was just like impressed. Scheherazade kept telling these tales to like prevent herself from being yeeted. And with all this, with each story, like she'd end a story and then she'd start another one to keep the Sultan hooked till eventually he fell in love with her. I'm like, wow, that's some serious game right there. I would love to see something like that. That would be cool. Let's see. Alcohol will be available only in licensed hotel venues, not in public park spaces. Halal food options will be standard. So that's
I mean, that's just common sense. Yeah.
yeah, very much
I'd
so.
imagine all their products are gonna sell, even if it's, let's say they'll have cosmetics, it'll be halal. Everything will be halal,
Yeah.
like, certified.
Yeah, that's to be expected over in that particular country. Well, that area anyway, in the Middle East. Special observances during Ramadan, dining options may be limited before sunset, and the park will likely include nighttime celebrations for Eid. So, for people who don't know what Eid is, that is the last night of the month of Ramadan. So, usually huge celebrations, stuff like that. So, that makes sense because during Ramadan, most people are fasting until sunset. So that does make sense. Security and conduct. Security measures will be tight. Disney is expected to enforce a stricter dress and conduct code than in Western parks. Yeah, because the UAE don't play. All right. So I'm waiting for the first influencers to go over there and FAFO. You know it's coming. You know it's coming.
I will watch those vlogs. Not that I'll be laughing, but at the very least, be educated, you know?
Yeah. Don't do this when you go over there. Don't try to go over there and kiss your boyfriend in public. Just no. No.
That happened. There was a American couple traveling. I forgot, was it in Qatar? And
It was Qatar. I
yeah,
think it was.
and, was it they were
Yeah.
holding hands or gave each other a kiss and what we would
Yeah.
think is totally innocent. Oh, no, yeah, they were, reprimanded. Yeah,
Yeah. I think I saw
I
that. I'm
told
just
Raph,
like,
"You know, like, if we ever went to the Middle East for anything," I was like, "I wouldn't even hold your hand." He looked at me and he's like, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "Absolutely not."
mm-mm.
He's like, "I wouldn't hold your hand either."
No. Mm-mm. No. Final thoughts. So again, this is a great article by Pirates and Princesses. I also dropped the article to the Daily Mail, which goes more in depth. That's linked in the Pirates and Princesses article as well. Also, Paul, I didn't want to miss your comment. Walt made it a rule that no alcohol in his parks. They were at the hotels. I remember that. He was worried about those who couldn't handle the alcohol. Some guests have proven his point. Yes, it's also the
Mhm.
reason why Epcot, we would joke about drink around the world. It wasn't really to get sloppy drunk. It was like, how many of the drinks could you do before it's just like, I can't, I can't do anymore. And it was an informal thing. It was like a joke, but it wasn't like now where it's like a all day, all night kegger at Epcot. I can't tell you just how many inebriated people that I've had to deal with at Epcot. And, Disney's putting a quote unquote family bar over at Pirates
Yeah,
of the
but
Caribbean.
there's also a cultural difference in how Americans drink and how we view drinking versus here in Europe, and
Yeah.
even in the Middle East. Depending on what part of the world you're in, depends on how it's viewed and how that's carried out. So, like we were saying earlier, in France and Italy, particularly, children will
Hmm.
drink wine with their meals. Parents will typically dilute the wine, and it's very controlled, and that's how essentially they develop a taste for such a some very dry, very dry wines. Um, and it's just enculturated in them, and it's taught. It it's a cultural experience. It's
Hmm.
a drink with your meal. It's not you're not sitting there slamming it to, feel a buzz. Not that that doesn't exist out here, but it's also not to the magnitude of what we have in the United States.
Yeah, it's it's interesting. Like in the U.S., you have the people who will drink because they want to get totally hammered, and then you have the people who do not drink like at all. Um, I'm one of those persons where it's like I don't really drink that much, but usually if I was on vacation at Disney, I would usually get something. And then camera girl was freaking out. She's like, "What if you get drunk?" I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." I was like, "You see how this one glass of wine, it's not filled to the top, and I take my time drinking that." I said, that is completely different. But yeah, the culture is different because it's like when I was over in Europe, especially Germany, I'm like, will y'all stop giving me different things of alcohol to try, please? Because you found out I was American. Like, it's not
Oh, yeah,
fair.
they love sharing their culture like that. There have been many times we've had to tell them, "No," like, "We have to drive."
I'm just like,
Um,
don't give it to me. I'll never forget. It was no, it was around when I went over there and went to one of the Christmas markets in Nuremberg. Yeah, that's where it was. Christmas market in Nuremberg. It was so cold. The wind was crazy. So we go inside in this restaurant and we're there, in the restaurant. And of course, I'm like thin blood, like, man, it's really cold in here. So my friend is telling them where I'm from and they're just like, "Oh, we'll bring you out something." So I don't know, she ordered it in German and they brought it out and it was in this little glass and it had like this gold kind of color to it.
oh, was it a
And
shot?
I don't know, but it smelled like cinnamon and vanilla. And I took one sip
Mm.
and all my insides were in a good way. It's like, oh, I'm not cold anymore. It was so good. It was
But
so good.
also here, when you go to a restaurant, it's an event, it really is. In the States, we're used to sitting down, eating, and you're done within an hour,
Hmm.
tops. And in some places, the turnover of tables is even faster than that. Here, no. If you're going out to eat, you better plan about 3 hours, maybe 4 hours, because they do not rush. and it will take them a good 30, maybe 40 minutes to even get your
Mhm.
order done because it's freshly cooked from scratch. And in the meantime, yeah, you're literally sipping on wine or whatever beverage slowly until your food comes. But you're
Mhm.
there for like hours, even through your meal. So whatever you're drinking by the time you're done with the meal, the alcohol has had more than enough time to like kind of run its course.
Mhm.
Um, and that's another thing to consider too is they're not out here eating and drinking quickly like we are in the United States when they go out to eat. You're out for several hours going out to
Yeah.
eat.
It's more leisurely.
Yes, very
Yeah.
slow.
That's what I ran into. It's like it's a lot excuse me. It's a lot slower, which I appreciate when it's like I say like not hot weather, but kind of like spring weather. It's kind of nice to,
Mhm.
have it kind of dragged out. Goldschlager, I don't know if it was
Oh,
Goldschlager.
maybe it was,
I think
possibly,
maybe it
but
possibly.
a better version than what we get in the States.
Yeah, because this was just like I'm like, why is it that tiny? And then I took one sip. It was like thick and just cinnamon, vanilla, and I'm just like, this is really good. Okay, let's went down, but it was delicious because they first of all they tried to get me beer, and I was like, no, because I don't drink beer at all. They looked at me kind of funny, but I'm just like, I'm not a beer person. You're gonna have to find something else for me. Apparently, they did. Apparently, they did. So, final thoughts about this: Disney's upcoming Abu Dhabi park marks a bold. I can talk tonight. A brand and region merging fairy tale fantasy with Sharia compliant realities right there. Um,
Oh, mhm.
yes.
Yep.
So they have the license and it's their land in their country. So guess what? They can pretty much do what they want to do. So the
Like I
companies.
said, going back
Mhm,
to that bargaining power, because 'cause I'd imagine 10 years ago or even just a few years ago, with Disney doing as well financially, and this deal, no, because Disney would have told them, "Yeah, not happening," because of but because they're in such a financial pinch,
mhm,
they can't afford to say no because they need money so bad.
exactly. Exactly. So let's see. The long company's long-standing practice of adapting part content to fit local laws will be tested in new ways through redesigned characters, omitted representation, and culturally tailored entertainment. Whether it's a modern marvel or a sanitized spin on Disney magic will ultimately depend on how visitors and the global public will respond. I'll say this out loud right now. Do not expect for wait. Don't expect for any overt representation of Black people outside of Tiana, even if they decide to put her in the park. I'm just saying,
Mhm.
it looks like they're just going to go with the Disney catalog of characters that they are interested in putting into their own parks. And there is nothing that you
Yep.
can say from us folks in the West to get them to change it because it ain't your money. And it's not Disney's money.
And it's not necessarily a race thing either. It's just what's going to be relevant in that country in terms of what characters and movies resound. Like you go to Japan and Aristocats is really popular. And for
Mm-hmm.
years, Aristocats, you didn't really find a whole lot of that merch.
Mm-mm.
At least Marie the cat, you couldn't find her anywhere in the States parks, but we saw her all over the place in Japan. This was back in, like, from 2005 to 2008 when we were in Japan. Um, so they're gonna pick characters that and they might pick movies and characters that aren't really represented a whole lot in the US parks. Because in Paris, before Disney US
Mhm.
got their hook back into when it was owned actually, what people don't know is Disney Paris, used to be owned by a Middle Eastern prince, and a lot of the characters that
Mhm.
were picked were characters in movies that you didn't really see a whole lot in the US, which kinda
Mhm.
made it unique. Um, so I think it'd be interesting to see what they pick for their catalog of, because
Yeah.
Disney doesn't just have human characters, they've got animal
Yeah.
characters too, and they
They
might lean in more into that because it might be something that just culturally resounds better, talking animals, like, versus a lot of human, you know?
Mhm. Exactly. So that's because it's like I can see the people freaking out now. It's like, what about diversity, equity, and inclusion? It's just like,
No, it doesn't exist in those
no,
countries. It's
no, they're not. They're to them. It's just like that's ridiculous. We're not doing that, and they shouldn't do that. And it's like what Erica was saying. They are going to go with what they think that their market wants to see, and go with it from there. But like I said, I cannot wait to see the spurge out from certain people about this. It's gonna happen, and we're gonna be there with popcorn to see exactly because the spurge out is coming. So, any final thoughts about the Abu Dhabi park? I showed you guys the picture of Iger. And ooh, wait, hold on a second. It's not just Iger. And I can't believe I didn't bring this up. Mr. Skinny Jeans himself. There's Josh Tomorrow down there in the bottom right.
skinny jeans.
He does. He wears skinny. Although I
I
don't
know
think
he
he's wearing
does.
skinny jeans in this picture. I seriously don't think
No,
he's.
because when you're meeting with okay, so so the men there dressed in white, they are part of the royal family.
Ah,
So
okay.
when you see Middle Eastern men dressed in the white garb, they have a
Mhm.
connection. There's a relationship, not a relationship, but they are related to the royal family. Yeah, there is power, and because they're related to the, royal family, they're given an insane amount of like, a stipend just from the government. They're issued cars. There's all kinds of perks, because they're royalty. So I'm not surprised to see 2 out of the 3 in
Mhm.
white, because at the end of the day, yeah, who do you think is really fitting the bill? It's
Yeah,
gonna be
because
the royal it's gonna be a royal family somewhere.
it totally is. It's like again with Saudi Arabia, because this is what I grew up with, watching, members of the Saudi royal family at Disney World. As a matter of fact, some friends and I, when we were kids, were like, "Did you see the Saudi royal family, members when you were there?"
Never
They,
seen them. I've never
whoo,
been there when they're there. But yeah, because they are you guys don't even begin to understand the amount of wealth, and I don't mean like Elon Musk wealth.
no,
It's a different kind of wealth. It's not just cash, what's hanging out in their bank accounts. It goes beyond that. This is wealth that's just not gonna disappear.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
They
They're
can't
they're
they can't outspend their wealth. That's
no,
how wealthy they are.
no. They would come over. Like I said, I think they rented out like a whole floor of um of the Disney hotels. They would hire off-duty Orange County sheriff's deputies and Osceola County sheriff's deputies as their private security.
And they probably brought over their own chefs, their own cooks because of their
Mhm.
diet because considering that they eat based off their religious beliefs.
Yeah,
So
oil Saudis.
everything has to be tailored to their
Mhm.
culture.
like I said, I went to
Yep.
college with some Saudi princesses. Yeah, I was just like, dang, I only heard about this kind of money. But yeah, they would. And I remember I tried to buy something from MAC as color I wanted of like lipstick and lip liner. And guess what? They didn't have it because one of the Saudi princesses came there and bought everyone out
She
of
bought
that
the whole
color.
lot.
Bought the whole lot. I said, she didn't buy just one or two. She said, no, bought every single one that we had. I'm like, dang, going it, y'all. But I gotta laugh because I'm looking at Josh DeBarro and he's not wearing skinny jeans. Yeah, you're gonna have to adjust when you're with that in the Middle East. So folks, thank you so much for hanging out with us for the Resort Recon Live podcast. I love doing this show. I love doing this show with my friends when they drop in, especially Erica. What you got going on, my dear? Where can folks find you?
Well, we vlogged last Sunday. Forgot if I mentioned it on the Spice Lounge or not. Anyway, we went to a medieval fest at Lonsdale Castle, and I have yet to edit the material. And we were going to go to a farmer's market today, but we slept in. And by the time we got up, they were closing. So that didn't happen.
Oh,
Um, but maybe tomorrow. We'll see if I feel comfortable breaking out the camera in a restaurant and filming American pancakes here in Germany.
well, I cannot wait to see that. That is going to be awesome. So, folks, please do make sure that you are subscribed to Erica's channel. I should have her link in the description box of the video. Man, I was slacking today. As for your girl, oh wait, one more thing. Virtual queue to enter lands at Epic. I hope they don't do this. I really hope that
That
they
doesn't
don't
make
do
any
that.
sense because the entire park is made up of portals. That wouldn't I don't know how they would do it and it be successful.
hmm I don't either. I mean, they had to do that for Super Nintendo World in Universal Studios Hollywood because it was new and in such a small area. Everybody pretty much wanted to go in there. But Epic Universe, it's plenty of space to walk around. And with the portals, there's like one way in. There's like several. There's at least two entrances and exits, like the main portal entrance and exit, and then there's one like off to the side. Like Ministry of Magic, they've got two. So there's the main portal that you go through, and there's two other entrance ways to get in. So yeah, I don't think they're going to do virtual queue. That's not going to go over very well. Let's see. As for me, what day is it? It is Saturday. So 8 p.m. tonight, we're having a watch party for the original animated How to Train Your Dragon. I can't wait. I haven't seen this movie in the longest time. Had no interest in seeing it until visited Isla Burke. So now I have to see that movie again. So for the next month or so, we're going to be doing films that are related to the portals over at Epic Universe. So we have that. And then on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Welcome to Florida show, we are going to be talking about America's Sheriff, known as Sheriff Grady Judd, the Sheriff of Polk County. He is famous for how he handles criminals, how he even talks to people, and with all the crazy Florida man crime we got going on, he's like the balance for law enforcement in Florida. There's a reason that he's famous, so we're going to talk some more about him on Sunday. So thank you guys so much for being here. All the chats, all the super chats, all the member chats, gifted memberships, super chats. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Please do make sure you subscribe to Erica's channel, Erica and Rob. Please make sure you're subscribed to
Lorena? Oh, we lost her.
I pulled a Gary from Nerdrotic thing. I kicked myself out of my
What happened? I was like,
I
"We
have a
lost her."
buttons on the side. So sometimes if you touch them by accident, it will kick you out.
Oh,
Yeah. So yeah, you'll still do it. So many streamers don't do it. Like, dang it, I hit the button. But anyway, yes, thanks folks for being here. We will see you all next time. Bye. Look at
bye.
this time.